Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and welcome to the BoxHard Podcast.
Hello, everyone. This is Mikey Garcia.
It's the monster from the swamps, Regis Rougarou Prograis.
Hey, what's up? This is King Carlos Molina, former IBF world champ.
This is Michael, the Bounty Hunter, 2012 Olympian and your people's champ.
This is Charlie Edwards, flyweight champion of the world.
This is Fast Eddie Chambers, and you're listening to the BoxHard Podcast with my main man, Joey Coastman.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 247 of the BoxHard Podcast. I'm your host, Joey Coastman, riding solo this week by my own choice. The reason behind that is because the interview that we have for you this week is extremely in-depth. It's the longest interview I've ever done. It's with the former WBC Featherweight world champion Kevin Kelley. He goes into great detail about, his whole career and stuff like that. So yeah, no Eddie this week, no Iaz. I'm just going to dive straight into the review and preview segments, and then of course the news, and then I'm going to bring Kevin in, and that'll be pretty much everything this week. So let's fly through this. The review part starts here. Thursday the 2nd of July. This one again took place last week at the Bubble in the MGM Grand Las Vegas. We got to see Albert Bell move to 17-0, a wide win for him on points over 10 rounds against Mark Benavides, who's now 20-4. Topping that bill, we got to see Jose Pedraza move to 27-3 in inside 30 fights, of course. A win for him unanimously over 10 rounds against Mikkel Lesseps, who's now 22-2 with a draw. Lesseps, a former world title challenger. He boxed Maurice Hooker. That's where his sole loss had come from prior to this bout here. It was a little bit like VAR boxing kind of thing, the instant replay boxing was in play in many ways. The referee actually exited the ring to check the TV monitors ringside in the round after the apparent knockdown happened. And then he got back in the ring and said that the knockdown that had happened in the previous round no longer stood. So that was quite bizarre. I've never seen that happen before. Round 5... I think there was 2 knockdowns in round 5. I think Pedraza was down in that round. That might have been when they ruled it out, actually. I know that Lesseps was down in round 5 for sure, and he was down in round 10 as well, if I'm not mistaken. A good right hand as well that dropped him in round 5 from Pedraza. I actually thought Pedraza would probably get him out of there, but it wasn't to be. But like I say, a very wide win on points. Lesseps did well to survive the distance, to be fair to him. Also on the undercard, I should mention Ribisi Ramirez. He was able to avenge his sole defeat to Adán Gonzales, the man that he lost to on his debut. The Olympic gold medalist, now 4-1, a unanimous decision over 6 rounds against Adán Gonzales. I didn't really like the showboating from Ramirez, poking his tongue out, stuff like that throughout the fight. It was almost as if he was trying to pretend he doesn't respect the guy that he lost to, which was a bit silly, a bit distasteful for me. I just didn't really like that style there, but whatever. Moving on now, we're gonna move to Tuesday. This was this Tuesday, just yesterday, because this show's actually going out on a Wednesday, which doesn't really happen. But we're doing it this week. So yesterday at the Bubble MGM Grand, again, Las Vegas, Nevada, USA, Andy Vences, 23-1 with a draw, got in there against Luis Vargas, who's now 21-2, because he was able to pull off the win, a split decision win over 10 rounds, a very close fight. Andy Vences showed a terrific chin, if nothing else. Not saying he didn't do enough to win. I wasn't really paying too much attention to the fight, even though I should have been, because it was quite action-packed. Like I say, there was times in the fight where Vences looked like he was on the verge of being stopped, but then, Vargas kind of blew his load, if you like, in the mid-rounds, and then towards the end of the fight, that's when Vences came alive and started taking over, if you like. Also on that bill, not Pedraza, Zepeda. I think I did that last week as well. 32-2 now, Zepeda. A win for him unanimously over 10 against Kendo Castaneda, who's now 17-2. Quite a boring fight, to be honest. I expected more from Zepeda there. He was supposed to be taking on Ivan Baranchyk, of course, but Baranchyk pulled out the fight for whatever reason. If it would have been Baranchyk in the opposite corner, I feel it would have been a loss for Zepeda. He didn't impress me whatsoever. And that's it, though, for the reviewing. We're going to move quickly on to the previewing. This one takes place tomorrow night, Thursday, the 9th of July. Back at the bubble in the MGM Grand, we've got Jerry Forrest, 26-3. He was supposed to be boxing Big Baby Miller, but of course Big Baby Miller fouled yet another ped test, so he's out of the bout. But in steps the tough man Carlos Takam, now 38-5 with a draw. Interesting, actually, because he's a big favourite, if I'm not mistaken, Takam, but he hasn't had much notice, so, it's going to be interesting to see. There could be some money to be earned if you back Forrest, but I'm not sure how good he really is. Also on the bill, we get to see Carlos Castro, 25-0, take on Cesar Juarez, who's 25-8, over 10 rounds. We get to see Joshua Ortiz, I'm not 100% sure that's how it's said, 7-0. He's in a 6-rounder against Joshua Alta, who's 6-0. That's a really good fight there between two undefeated prospects. The heavyweight Jared Anderson is also back. He's 4-0. He's in a 4-rounder against Hector Perez, who's 7-2. And of course, on Friday, the return for UK boxing. The first promoter to bring action back to the screens is Frank Warren. It takes place at the BT Sports Studio in Stratford, London, United Kingdom. On this card, we get to see Brad Foster, who is 12-0 with 2 draws. He puts his Commonwealth and British Super Bantamweight titles on the line against James Beach Jr. from the West Midlands, who has a record of 12-0, so somebody's O must go there. You definitely have to favour Brad Foster, in my opinion. He's coming off those 2 fights against Lucian Reed. He looked really good in the rematch. Of course, the first one was a draw. The second one, he was able to get the stoppage over Lucian Reed. I want to see him build on that, really. Also on the bill, we get to see Hamza Shiraz, 10-0. He puts his WBO European Super Welterweight title on the line against Paul Keane, who's 12-1, the Scottish fighter. That's going to go the distance for sure, I think, that one there. That's a good fight, though. Good test there for Hamza Shiraz. And the heavyweight David Adeleye is on the bill. He's 1-0 with 1 KO. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I was at that fight he had where he stopped the guy in the first round. Built like a brick, you know what. I'm interested to see his development, but we're not going to see much when he takes on Matt Gordon, who's 2-2 with a draw. Matt Gordon, a southpaw, 35 years of age. Who has Gordon lost to? He's coming off 2 losses, actually. So, not quite sure what to expect from that one there. And the final 2 bills to mention. Let's start on Saturday, this Saturday the 11th, at the Mississippi Coast Convention Center in Mississippi, of course, USA. It's going to be on CBS Sports in the US. Undefeated prospect Lorenzo Simpson, 7-0. He's in a 6-rounder against Alex Duarte, who is 16-9 with a draw. Just really that one fight to mention there. And moving now to Tuesday, next Tuesday, 6 days from now, the 14th of July. Big news, it's back on. Jamel Herring, he's recovered from his coronavirus, 21-2, defending his WBO World Super Featherweight title against Jonathan Oquendo, 31-6. Obviously the fight was put off because, Jamel tested positive for coronavirus, and it looked like the fight wasn't going to get rescheduled. It looked like he was probably just going to take a long break and then hopefully return with a bigger fight. But, it's to everyone's surprise that the fight is back on, and I think there was about 10 days really from the announcement to the fight itself, if I'm not mistaken. Just a little look down Oquendo's record. He's got those 6 losses. 1 came to Lamont Roach Jr. That was his last loss. Obviously, Lamont Roach is a guy that Jamel Herring beat in his last fight. So that's a common opponent that sticks out right there. He lost unanimously to Lamont Roach, and obviously Jamel beat Lamont Roach on points. He's also been in there with Jesus Cuellar. He lost that one. He's also been in there with Abner Mares, Wilfredo Vasquez Jr., Juan Manuel Lopez. And I really didn't know he'd been a pro for that long. He's been a pro for 16 years. That's quite shocking there, Jonathan Oquendo. But, yeah, I don't really see him putting up any kind of threat to Jamel Herring. You know, he's got a good win back in 2015 over Johnny Gonzales, but yeah, nothing that stands out as threatening to me. Also on the undercard, Mikaela Mayer. Obviously, she's another one that tested positive for coronavirus. She's back 12-0 her record. She's in a 10 2-minute round contest against Helen Joseph, who is 17-4 with 2 draws. I'm really looking forward to that card, actually. But that's it for the review and preview. Just moving over now to the news part of the show. MTK Global have announced some cards that they're going to be putting on. The first event takes place on the 11th of August. It's a Tuesday. We're going to see John O'Carroll take on Maxie Hughes. We're going to get to also see on that bill Sean McComb, who's 10-0. He takes on Siar Ozgul, who's 15-4. Very tough guy, Ozgul. He'll box absolutely anyone. Also, we get to see Craig McIntyre box Darren Surtees, and Sahir Iqbal take on Maradou Thomas. Not quite sure if I'm saying that right there, but yeah, good bill. The second card takes place on the 25th of August. Lewis Crocker tops the bill against Lewis Green. That one's for the vacant WBO European welterweight title. Also, Lee McGregor's back in that one. He takes on Ryan Walker. Gary Cully takes on Kieran Geffin. Blaine Highland takes on James McGivern in James McGivern's debut. And the third event is the 1st of September. It's another Tuesday night. It's headlined by Akeem Ennis-Brown, who's 13-0. He takes on Philip Bowes, who's 20-3. Dan Aziz, this is a brilliant fight here for the English light heavyweight title. Dan Aziz, 11-0, takes on Andre Sterling, 11-2. Darren Tetley also on the bill against Liam Taylor. That's a brilliant fight as well. And a couple of other good fights on that bill as well. So 3 fights that MTK have brought us there. The other piece of news that is pretty shocking is that Dillian Whyte has decided to step away from his trainer, his long-term trainer. He was with him for 4 years. The trainer, of course, being Mark Tibbs. He's decided to part ways with him, and so has his young charge, Richard Riakporhe. So apparently it was very amicable between everyone. That's what we always want to see, but it's quite questionable with Dillian Whyte's big fight. Very important for him to get the win. Coming up real soon. I think it's about 6 weeks away, and he's just parted ways with his trainer of 4 years that's done a lot for him. So yeah, that took me by surprise, as a lot of other people also were surprised by that. But that's it, though, for the review, for the preview part, of course, and the news. It's now time to welcome our sole guest on this week's podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former WBC Featherweight World Champion. It is, of course, Mr. Kevin Kelley. Kevin, welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be aboard.
It's absolutely my pleasure, Kevin, believe me. So I want to start right from the beginning. What was your upbringing like as a kid in that part of New York, of course?
Well, New York City is a different city, and then it's always just transforming, changing. When I grew up, I was the only child. I have no brothers, no sisters. My mother's one of 8. My father's one of 6. I have uncles and aunts, nieces, a few cousins here and there. New York City was very different than it is now. It's not the same city. I played outside. I played stickball, punchball, basketball, handball. Very athletic. I never thought about boxing. My father liked boxing. He liked boxing a lot. We watched it on the weekends. When he was off work, we would watch boxing matches. I watched guys like Charlie Choo-Choo, White Brown, Massini, Livingstone Bramble, Mike McCullum. I watched a lot of these guys, Sugar Ray, Camacho, and I watched them, and I liked them. I never thought I would ever box. I just liked the sport. Growing up as a kid, my father was an amazing man. He was affected by this coronavirus, of course. My father passed away March 30th of this year. So he was an amazing man. It's a great deal of, with me, a lot of father-son activities. My mother went to the post office. She was very, very independent woman. So I was raised that way. I was raised young to go out and make. I started working when I was 15 years old, just to occupy my pockets, my own pockets. So I asked my father for money. So it was pretty much made me very independent. Very not needed on somebody else to do things yourself. So I think they raised me pretty well. And I'm from New York City, so I was born in Brooklyn. I was raised in Queens. So I was in both parts. We had a great time. I moved to Vegas from Long Island. I lived in Long Island. So pretty much I enjoyed life pretty well, and I got a chance to live in the 80s and 90s of New York City and see what it's like, and that was the important part. And I think that's what made me who I am today.
Yeah, for sure. And I didn't know about your father, so I'm extremely sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that my father passed. Yeah, he died. The coronavirus got him. My mother caught it first, and after she caught the coronavirus, they kept telling the doctors in America could tell them this the flu. It's not the flu, and I knew it. I'm in Vegas, and the hard part was I had handcuffed here in Vegas because it's so bad in New York City, you can't go there. Yeah. And so my mother caught it first. She recovered, and father nursed her back to health. Then he caught it. I talked to him the last time, the 28th, as we had communication. 29th, I gave him a break. 30th, my uncle called his identical twin and told me my father had passed away. He was actually about to turn, in May, he would turn 74 years old.
Very sad, man.
And my mother and father married 53 years.
Oh, that's very sad, Kevin. Like I said, I apologize. I'm sorry about the awful news. Yeah, let's talk about your earliest boxing memory. What's your earliest memory in boxing? Perhaps the first time you put on a pair of gloves.
Well, what happened was I wanted a jacket from a gym, and the earliest I think I was 15 years old. I was 15. I really didn't go to the gym to box. I went to the gym to just something to do for a little bit, and I started showing talent, and the trainer started noticing, and I became his Golden Glove champion. I was East Regional champion. I was number 2 in the country, 3 in the world. It was crazy. It was amazing. I realized I had a gift, and as I was doing it, it came very easy to me. Boxing wasn't hard for me. It was very easy. My movement, my speed. I came to the gym with a bunch of quick reflexes, fast hands, fast feet. Everything went to fast, and I just played. It was playtime for me. I enjoyed the tag. I called it tag when I was a kid. I was playing tag. I had so much fun. It was so much fun. Never thought I'd be professional. Never thought I would fight for titles. I just enjoyed it at the moment. I traveled around the country and around the world as an amateur when I was 16, 17 years old in Russia. News cameras coming to school and film me in class. I was just watching it. I was a spectator of me, too. I'd never seen anything like this. So I was pretty much primarily just watching me from the outside looking in. It was something different. And to know that I turned professional and all these things, these grand things that happened later on, I wanted to be the best. My mother always told me, be the best. And that's what I was doing. I wasn't about winning or losing. I was about being the best. And that was my goal to achieve, and I achieved it.
Yeah, you certainly did. And as an amateur, if I'm not mistaken, I think you had 75 fights, winning 70 of the 75, but sadly missing out on going to the Olympic Games. What was your highlight moment of your amateur career, Kevin, if you can remember?
Well, all of it together, really, because I won a lot of tournaments on Empire State Games, the Golden Gloves twice, all these tournaments I won. So it was the highlight. I would say the Golden Gloves probably because that's the biggest amateur tournament, in America here. And fighting in the Garden, which the great Ray Robinson did, Vito Fermo did, Mark Breland did, Riddick Bowe did, Junior Jones. So that competition of Golden Gloves was a great breeding ground for future world champions. Honey Boy DeVal was a Golden Glove champion. The great Ray Robinson, pound for pound, the greatest fighter to live, is a former Golden Glove two-time champion. So I think that I did that. The Garden was a big thing to me. I fought 16 times in the Garden, and 2 as an amateur, so probably about 22 times. The Garden was, I would say, the Golden Gloves because it was the most prestigious amateur tournaments to do. Even though the Nationals was not big, won the country, but the Golden Gloves in New York City, a lot of guys want to. I still wear the Golden Gloves around my neck today. I still have a 1986 pair of Golden Gloves around my neck right now. That's a victorious. A lot of people. Iran Barkley, I mean, the names that win the Golden Gloves is anonymous. Nobody's near that. You know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson probably the only one from New York that didn't win a Golden Gloves. They didn't fight a Golden Gloves. So realistically, that was an amateur tournament that was a really highlight of my career.
Yeah, absolutely. And getting on to your pro career now, obviously you made your debut September 8th, 1988 at the Felt Forum in New York. You boxed a guy by the name of Willie Barnes. Do you remember much of your debut, Kevin?
If I think about it, I do. I think it was the most scariest time of my whole career. Why? Because it's the first fight.
Yeah.
You know, and the first time you're going pro, no headgear. So it feels a little bit off. Of course, you used to fight with a headgear on, the shirt, and that all codes, you don't have to do that. You fight with 8-ounce gloves, which is smaller than the 10-ounce that you fight as an amateur. So it makes things difficult, you know. And I actually had to regroup myself, and I wanted to stop Billy Barnes, and he was a great opening for me. You know, and I got to tell everybody, every opponent that I faced who built my legacy, helped build my legacy, win, lose, or draw. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you look at most fighters. I would tell people, fighters they remember the fights they had are. You know what I'm saying? That's what's remembered. The fights that they had. I got 72 pro fights. Great career to me personally, but I have about 3 fights. There's 3 fights that people talk about. And no matter where I go, it'll follow me for the rest of my life. You know, I hear about me and Troy Dorsey all the time. That was Dana White's, the UFC president's favorite fight. Okay? Then I hear about me and Smoke Gainer all the time. And the history maker of all, of course, me and the Prince.
Absolutely.
I think because it left a void there. People wanted a rematch, and that rematch didn't take place. And the thing is, that's where I think we left a huge pressure mark on there, you know, and all I care about is great fights, you know what I'm saying? And I realized that those 3 fights are the epitome of my career. Those 3 fights, people judge everything I've done on, you know, it's just like Terrell Gotti. Terrell Gotti was my sparring partner. And Gotti has some great fights, okay? And that's what defined who he was. And I always tell people, I don't care how good a fighter you are. As good as Mayweather is, you know, he doesn't have a defining fight. And as great as Roy Jones is, doesn't have a defining fight. Roy Jones is that good. So the 3 fights, 2 fights, like Ali without Frazier, Ali without Norton, Ali without, you know what I mean, George Foreman. You say, who is that person? So the bottom line is those are things great fighters, only great competitions. And that's what makes greatness.
And we'll certainly get onto those fights. I want to fast forward to one of them that you mentioned, February 18th, 1992. At this point, of course, you're 26-0 with 20 KOs. You box at the Paramount Theatre in New York against Troy Dorsey, who in his last fight prior to this lost his world title. So you're boxing a former world champion here. You win the fight unanimously over 12 rounds. Obviously, Troy Dorsey had a short but tough career when you look back. Was he the best opponent you'd boxed by that stage? I'm guessing he probably was. What do you remember of the fight, though?
He might be the best fight I've ever faced in my life. With Troy Dorsey, you need a gun. Okay, forget about the gun. He doesn't stop coming. Until after that victory, I didn't feel anybody won that fight, me personally, in the ring. I thought they could have a draw because the bottom line was, you know, he took me to a fight where I was in the hospital after that fight. I peed blood for the first time. I mean, I thought I was really going to die. You know, cause I couldn't stop myself from doing what I did. And that fight proved to me that what I could take. I always tell people, you don't know what you could take until you're in a boxing ring. And your guy's going at it, you know how to stop him, and you know how much you could take. He's a true test, and I'll be fighting to this day. He's a true test of my fortitude. He's a true test of my will, okay? Because I didn't even know I had that in me. I didn't even know. So he exposed me to myself. And the bottom line is, going back and forth, we broke the Guinness Book of World Records. We got beat, of course, later. But 2,806 punches thrown in 12 rounds. Wow. Troy Dorsey's a monster. I mean, I thought that he was number 1 in the IBF. I was number 1 in the BC. Thinking back in hindsight, that was a bad managerial decision, you know, because either one loses, you know, we lose our number 1 spot. And I became number 1 in the IBF at that point. I was number 1 in the BC, IBF, PO, all of them. And that was a really grueling, I mean, the most I could say in my career where I could feel to this day is from that fight. And we talk from time to time on the phone. And he runs a dojo of martial arts. He's actually the first martial artist ever to win a boxing world title. He's the first guy. And so he come from kickboxing, and he won world titles in kickboxing, and then he won a boxing title. So Troy Dorsey is man. I mean, to go 12 rounds, 45 minutes of grueling torture with a man you can't hurt. It's amazing.
Yeah, and like I said, that was the first time you'd actually gone 12, so that was a brilliant win for you at the time, of course. 22 months later, you gather another 10 wins. By this time, you're 36-0. December 4th, 1993 is the date at the Reno Sparks Convention Center in Nevada. You boxed the reigning WBC Featherweight World Champion at the time, the Mexican Gregorio Vargas. I'm sure you'll never forget that night, of course, when you become world champion. Tell us what you remember about it. Obviously a brilliant night, Kevin.
Well, I was mandatory at that point for 2 years. I fought Dorsey in 92. Yeah. So I fight for the title in late 93, which I wasn't even going to get because nobody would fight me. I wanted to fight Tom Boom Boom Johnson, who was the IBF champion back then, and Boom Boom wouldn't fight me whatsoever. I wanted to fight Rojas, who was the BA champion. I wanted to fight Young Kim Park out of Korea. That was, I think it was one of the belts he had. But at that point, I was actually ready to retire because I couldn't get a title shot. You know, I remember I turned pro in 88. I didn't get the shot until 93, and I barely got that one. The reason I got it was because Gregorio Vargas, he had fought a fight before he gave me that fight. HBO stepped in. That's when the HBO came about. The storyline behind it is I ran into Lou DiBella, the vice president of HBO, not knowing who he was, and we were talking about my career. And I'm 36-0 and number one mandatory, and I'm very frustrated. And I was talking to this guy, and I didn't know who he was, and I'm venting, and I'm cursing him out too while I'm at it, right? And he's saying crazy things. And I wind up putting myself into history by being a first featherweight in 25 years to be on HBO. And that's what got that fight to happen. Okay, me and Goya Vargas. So they were trying to give me a fight with him inside of Ireland for like a third of the money. That it didn't make sense. That was the start really of my career. I say the rebirth. I won the title, and then I was like thinking to myself, well, now I'm 37-0. You know, I was put in a position to create the lightweights. I wasn't there to do that, but I got offered the job, and I was placed in that position right away because I was the only lightweight on HBO. It was only De La Hoya was the lightest guy they had. So me being a featherweight on HBO, then I started criticizing the heavyweights, and they called me a heavyweight destroyer. So I would fight on heavyweight cards, Michael Moore's card, okay, anybody card they have, Holyfield, whatever. And I went out trying to outdo, my job was to outdo the heavyweight and get bigger ratings. So that was the beginning. So Goya Vargas fight was the epitome of what made my career, but without the Dorsey fight, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I knew what I could take and what I couldn't take. So at the end of that fight was a start. I just started, like my career, the 36 fights before that, I was now at the starting gate. You get my point? I wasn't at the finish line. I was at the starting gate. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy to think like that. But no. So most people would get comfortable in the position I was in. I couldn't get comfortable because I had to keep moving because now I had a position where I was the icon for the lightweights. I was representing them. And I, giving Junior Jones opportunity on HBO, Tracy Patterson, putting all these guys on HBO. Me and Lou DiBella put that together, okay, creating lightweights on HBO. And years later, of course, Fighting the Prince, that was the epitome of what I was building back then.
Yeah. And I want to go through your defenses because you had some tough defenses. Your first defense comes 5 months later in Atlantic City against former WBO Super Bantamweight World Champion Jesse Benavides. You were able to get the win unanimously over 12 that night as well. Tell us about that one there, Kev.
Well, Jesse Benavides, I didn't want to fight him because I thought he was too small for me, a junior featherweight. And TV, how TV works, he had fought Tracy Patterson twice, so TV, they knew him, so they trusted him. And they felt to be a good fight for me. I didn't want to fight him. I wanted to unify the titles. I wanted Boom Boom. I wanted Rojas. I was going straight for the jugular vein. I wasn't trying to play around with other guys, contenders that could be out there. I felt different. I mean, I wanted to be a dominant. My mother told me to be the best, and that's what I wanted to do. I sent the message by knocking guys out. I would send a message to future opponents, okay? And that was my mindset. It sounds crazy, but that's the way my mindset thought. Okay, I wanted to beat guys so bad that the future opponents are so scared, okay, that they know what I can do to them. Jesse Benavides was a heck of a fighter. I knew that, but I always thought he was just too small for me. And when they took the fight, TV took the fight, I said, nah, I don't want to fight Jesse Benavides. And I just a fight that I didn't really want. And Jesse Benavides is a really good fighter, you know. If you ain't got nothing to gain out of something, it's hard to get up for it. You know what I'm saying? First of all, I waited till 36 pro fights to become world champion. You know what I'm saying? And that's crazy. And then I'm fighting these hard, tough guys that to me it was like I want something bigger. You know, Jesse was decent. He was a good fighter, but I wanted something bigger.
And just 7 weeks later, you're back in the ring in Atlantic City again against former world title challenger Georgie Navarro. It's a non-title bout in which you stopped him in the 6th round. What actually happened there? How come you were out so soon and again in a non-title bout?
Well, me, so you got to understand something. My career, I got so many fights because I like to fight once a month. And I wanted to do that as a champion. I didn't really care. Because to me, that's your job. If that's your job, let's get to work. Okay? And the thing was, I wanted to get in the ring with Tom Johnson. I wanted Rojas. I wanted Young Kim Park. I wanted to unify the division right away. And my career, it was like so hard. It was like pulling teeth because the networks didn't believe that lightweights made money. They didn't believe that people want to see lightweights. That old heavyweight stigma was floating around in boxing, and I had to get rid of that. And that was a major, major problem. I had to get rid of that old stigma. No, they don't. They want to see good fights. And me being the only one for a little bit before I brought Junior on and Tracy on and other guys on, was a little bit a lot of hard work, very, very hard. So it wasn't an easy thing for me to do, neither was it for Lou DiBella. But Navarro, I didn't really even care. I mean, Andrew Dundee trained him, so I knew he was a good, pretty decent fighter. I was looking to fight the big fights and just make my imprint. And that fight was kind of funny because I fought in Atlantic City. I was fighting on the racetrack. I was the only fight on the card. There was no undercard. So it was only my fight, which is on CBS Sports, big in America, huge. CBS Sports, and I wound up stopping him in the 6th round. And after that fight, it was a funny story. After that fight, he got arrested because in America, he owed child support to a Jersey woman, the woman from Jersey, and they arrested him after that fight. So the next day in the paper, it came out, Kelley cuffs Navarro. So that was kind of funny. So it was more a little backstory on that fight, that people don't know about, that he had got arrested after that fight for not paying child support.
That's what I'm saying. I love digging up these fights that many other interviewers probably wouldn't ask about because there's always funny stories in there.
Yeah, it's always attachment.
3 months later, you're back in Atlantic City. You're making your second defense of the title here against Jose Ramos. You stop him in only 2 rounds to retain the title. What do you recall of that quick night there?
That night, I remember that night because Muhammad Ali was with my managers. My managers had Muhammad Ali, and the plan, it was more of a event. We made an event out of it. We were going to bring Muhammad in. Joe Frazier was going to come in. Nobody knew Muhammad was going to be there. So all my personal friends were going to meet Muhammad Ali for the first time in a small ballroom. What happened was I was supposed to fight on a card with Lennox Lewis, right? I believe at that time Lennox was the fighter who was fighting. And they moved the fight from America to overseas in Europe. And I didn't feel too kind about going overseas at that moment. I don't think we were going to go. But they didn't move my fight. It kind of separated us. So what happened was, instead of HBO doing 2 dates, okay, at the same time that they do now, doing an American feed and a European feed, they went overseas. So being overseas, I wound up fighting on the Spanish network, which the fights on the Spanish network, and it was in the Bally's Hotel, in a room that maybe held 3,000, okay, at best. We sold it out. I had buses. I got rented buses from New York City that didn't go to Atlantic City. When Ali walked in the room, of course, pandemonium erupted. To this day, I hear about that. People talk about it. Man, I got a picture of Ali. But Ali used to come to my house all the time. My managers were his agents. So Ali was a part of my team. So Ali being there was no surprise for me because we brought him in, And Joe Frazier showed up. So that was a good thing. But Vito Ramos was actually I fought defenses looking at it now that most guys wouldn't fight. He was like, 28-1? With 19 knockouts? He was a very dangerous opponent. A lot of New Yorkers came up because, Dominican. He's Dominican. I remember that. And Vito Ramos, when I caught him, it was a real scary knockout. I mean, when I knocked him out, if you watch that fight, it was very scary. I hit him so hard with a double left hand. And it was very good. Like I said, the crowd loved it. I mean, it was more of an event. Like I said, it was that the idea was Ali was there, Frazier was there, the room was packed. All my friends still talk about that fight because they all got drunk, had a great time. They got a chance to meet the legend, the greatest of all time, right? And I put that in the room, and so that's a memory I left my fans with, a lot of friends with. You know what I'm saying? They got a chance to be in a private setting, more or less, in a 3,000 room with Ali, and that was a really, really good thing for my fans.
Yeah, that's extremely cool. And yeah, no, he was a good fighter. He really was. Obviously, after that, he went on to get those 2 wins against Jorge Paez, who was a bit long in the tooth at that point, but still good wins. Yeah, so 6 weeks later, you were back once again, another non-title bout, this time against Pete Taliaferro in Mississippi. You stop him in the 10th and final round. That took you to 41-0. However, that's as far as the undefeated run would go. 2 months later, you made your final defense of the title against Alejandro Gonzales in San Antonio, Texas. Yeah. You pulled out. Yeah. You pulled out in the 10th round by your corner. Just run us through that one, Kev.
Well, what happened was, fighting that often and keeping that pace was very hard on me, right? Even though I wanted to keep it. I wanted a break before Peter Taliaferro. I wanted a break. But because management said, we're getting a winning streak right now, and HBO was like, and my man, and Alejandro was managing my mandatory. I don't even know where he came from. And I wanted a little more time. I wanted to take a break. I think back in hindsight, if I had to think about it, I would probably vacate it, let him have the defense, and go on about my business and fight other people. You know what I'm saying? And instead of being under pressure, I would have vacated. I was thinking about it, but the thing was, because, I had nothing to gain in that fight, only thing to lose. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard when you're fighting the incline, and then you got to fight the decline. So with me, it was like, even Taliaferro fight. If you look at the Taliaferro fight, when I fought the fight, I was holding back on knocking him out because I was so, psychologically at that point, because I wanted Tom Johnson. I wanted Rojas. I wanted the other champions. I'm in the incline. I'm not in the decline. I'm on levels off. So it was like I built this record up, and I was fighting these fights back to back. And I love to fight once a month if I'm going in an upward direction. But it seemed to me, at that point, I was fighting guys that I was giving them more opportunity than I was getting. So it was very dangerous. When I fought Pete Taliaferro, I remember Phil talking to me, and I was just let him land shots once in a while. It was almost like too easy for me for a little bit. And this guy fought Gotti for everybody, and he was a real dangerous opponent. And then Phil, and then forget it. I think it was 9th round, I stopped him. Phil said, I don't trust the judges. Right? Which gave me a challenge, which means, okay, Kevin, get him out of there. So that's a challenge, right? And that's exactly what I did. You know what I'm saying? So he sparked me by saying that to me. When you do 41 full fights undefeated like that, it's a harder mentality, And then if I move it up to the Alejandro Cabritas fight, we're fighting in Texas. He's my mandatory. I have to fight this guy. And I'm like, it's hard to get for him. But I felt, okay, whatever. I'm going to get him, right? Whatever, right? And in the second round, I felt some burning in my eyes. And my eyes started inflaming, blowing up. And I've seen the first time I've ever seen, rub his glove on the side of his shorts. It was just weird. The whole thing was weird. And then I still had to stop it. I dropped him in, I think, the 9th or 10th round, dropped him. But my eyes were so blown up big, right, that I couldn't see no more. My eyelids had flipped. Then they rushed me to the hospital after that fight. They drained my eyes to see what was in my eyes. I believe something was done. And, it never happened to me again like that. My eyes never blew up like that in life, And I just felt it was some foul play there. But, okay, I'll take it. Like I took all the wins, I'll take it. Because it don't kill you, make you strong, and I come back from it. It actually gave me a break. Then I took off a little bit, right? I thought I was going to take off a little longer, and I found a new promoter, of course. And I ain't say the names. I found new promoters, and they taught me to take a fight right away. They said to me, the way you give people get a loss, is to get a win. So I know I have an up and down roller coaster. I have God's faith in giving me ability. I had some 41-1, and I was looking to take a break. I was looking to take a 6-month break, maybe 7-month break, but that didn't happen. As you see the calendar you got in your hand, I'm fighting Carl Rivera, And that's actually a great fight. That's actually a great fight to watch. That's the only fight I ever got my behind whipped in. I actually can say I was taking a whipping. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I never took a whipping in my career except for that fight. And I, of course, I saved myself because I dig down deep and I knocked him out with one punch. You know, and it was in a luck, nothing like that. I took to my experience guard in that fight. And that fight, experience guard, because I was back too early. But I remember this is a funny story. I remember being on a plane flying to Mississippi. Oh, no, Memphis, matter of fact. And telling the wife, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I don't feel I'm ready. I don't feel it. You know, I just trained. I'm in shape, but no. You know, and it wasn't because of the loss. It was just I was getting tired because I was fighting so often, so frequently. You know, I came up like that, and then when you get there, you want to take yourself to gas a little bit, step back a little bit, evaluate yourself, and then go again. But I didn't have that break. So, and even after a loss, 2 months later, for the ring?
Yeah.
You know, so me, I looked at it like I'm not ready because I wasn't psychologically in it. The game is not even psychological. And I saved my whole career. That night, I saved my whole career because if I lost the fight, my career was going to be really in the tank. You know what I'm saying? Like every 41-2. And that wasn't going to happen. So that's what rejuvenated my whole career.
Yeah, like I said, or like you said, just it was only 2 months after the loss. You know, you were down in the second, you were given a standing 8 count in the sixth, but you got the stoppage in the end, round 9. After that is when you get the 2 back-to-back draws. The first one came against Tommy Parks, in which you were down in the first, but a head clash ended the bout in just the second round, and it was declared a technical draw. What do you recall of that fight there, Kev?
That fight, he really didn't want to fight. I could see the ring, and I wasn't. Those fights there in my career are fights that me trying to find myself and also trying to relocate the old Kevin Kelley. You know what I'm saying? Because I was so dominant, so prominent. You know what I'm saying? Beating the best fighters in the world. It was what it was. But that reign, even before I lost, it really started at Pete Taliaferro, where I needed that break, and it just dominoed with Alejandro and then Ricardo Rivera, and now you know these other 2 guys. I was really psychologically like I just need a break, and that first draw I got in my career, I never had a draw, and then I fight Bones Adams, which you know was a friend of mine. I don't want to fight him either. He's too small for me. I told this at Top Break. He's too small for me. Why would I fight Bones? Bones is a friend of mine. Why don't I fight Bones? And it's for a world title belt too, to BU. And I'm like, you know, so I want the belt, but I want to fight Bones for it. You know, so I go in and they match us. They tell me we wasn't fighting at first, and then when I show up to the fight, he shows up, and then it got against him. It was about a lot of bad business done in that situation. So what I did was, after you see the break in my career, after the Bones Adams fight, I disappear. You know, I do what I then needed to do since Peter Taliaferro, which is take that break. Okay, we evaluate some things. You know, when you box the way I boxed, from amateur to pro, and it never stopped, you need a break somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You need a break. I am human. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think I was when I was coming up, but I am human. And, you know, having an amateur career starting at 15 years old and never stopping. You know what I'm saying? Never stopping. That was crazy. Because I always felt if I stopped, I would lose something. So I never stopped. And, you know, after Bones fight, I was like, enough's enough. I'm telling my management, everybody, y'all going to be chilling for a minute. I'm relaxing. I'm taking a break. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to come back until I'm ready.
Did you feel like...
You know, I won it again.
Did you feel like you won the Bones Adams fight, by the way?
Well, I know I won. He's a friend of mine, but you can see I was just trying to hurt him. You know, and when people know me, I'm a guy that takes you out. That's what I do. And the thing with me is they didn't see me in that form or fashion, even the judges, and thought that he was doing better. And Bones was in Vegas with me, Bones. We were hanging out with him sometimes. But everybody thought that he did better because I allowed it. You know what I'm saying? It was a thing. I was just trying to knock him out. I was trying to hurt Bones. Even though I was swollen, you know what I'm saying? I did enough to be damaged for it to be, you know, of course, undisputed win. Okay? Undisputed win for me. I'll take the belt and I keep moving, I thought, personally. Because, you know, the title, the BU title, there's a new belt. Europe, I like it. I'll win the BU and I'll be back on top of things. And hopefully I get Tom Johnson or see these guys to fight. So that was the whole matter because Bones was a junior featherweight, and so was other boy, Benavides. Both of them were junior featherweights. They wasn't featherweights, and I just felt that I was taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah, because we spoke to Bones a few weeks back, and he said about that fight that after I think it was about 4 rounds, he said he'd hate to be watching it on TV. He doesn't think it was the prettiest fight to watch.
Yeah, it was very boring. I allowed it to be boring, like I said, but people know that me and Bones, people understand that me and Bones go back to when we first started in the Garden. Okay, Bones was 17 years old to a pro, and he was a junior featherweight. He was no threat to me. I was no threat to him, and I dominated my division. But I wasn't trying to fight Bones. There's no need. There's no future promise in a fight between me and Bones. Nobody really cared about it. Yeah. It wasn't a fight where I win and it's going to be a bunch of accolades going on. No. It's like I'm supposed to win. What do you do in fights you're supposed to win? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's the hardest place to fight from when you're supposed to win. And with me, the judges didn't see what they normally saw, and they thought that it was just me. He's doing so well, and he did okay, like I said, but nothing. I had no marks on me, nothing. Yeah. I was trying to hurt him, but but the thing was, it's hard to get in a ring with somebody that you're friends with like that. It's very difficult. Yeah, for sure. Very difficult. I figure he'll get a check, I'll get a check, we'll be out of here, I grab the belt, and I go my way. For sure. That's why I looked at the fight, and I thought I won the fight. Of course. Even Bones knows I won that fight. But, it was nowhere near a draw. It was nowhere near a draw. But I understand the judges see me with tenacity all the time. They're used to me going in there trying to get you out of there. They didn't see that. And because they didn't see that, they thought it was a draw.
No, fair enough. I'm going to watch that one back and score that myself, and I'll let you know.
Yeah. I wouldn't fight very easily.
5 months later, because you did disappear for a while, but you were back against former 2-weight world champion Louis Espinoza, another brilliant fight. The fight takes place at the Boulder Station Hotel in Las Vegas, Friday, February 2nd, 1996. A unanimous decision win for you over 12. That's a brilliant win looking back now as well.
Well, like I said, but Louis Espinoza was motivated. At that point, like I said, in my career, like I said, that's one loss, and it showed that with me coming back, was going to be at worst. That I was going to be better than I was when I first left. So Espinoza, the reason that motivated me was because I was a 4-1 underdog, and I'm saying, look at my record, look at his. How can I be the underdog? And I didn't understand that. They predicted he's going to knock me out. So when I took the fight, I said, okay, and it was like a throwaway fight for me. And I trained, and like I said, people don't know when I'm in the gym, and but the motivation was that I was a underdog. How can I be an underdog with one loss? He's got 5 or 6 losses, I got 1, and I'm the underdog. So all it did was put the spark in my behind, which I needed. And I even told Louis Espinoza in the press conference, I said, Louis, I'm saying thank you to you because you put spark in my behind being a favorite. I said, I need that. That's what I need. I said, Lou, I'm going to beat you easily. I tell him, I'm going to beat you easily because of that, right? And we had a great conversation in press conferences, and it was very good promotion for that fight. I was going for the second world title. And, like I said, the champions make the belt. The belt don't make the champion. So James Toney had one at that time. Angel Manfredi had one at that time. And I said, I'm going to beat this guy easy. As dangerous as he is, I'm going to beat him. He's a favorite. And that put the spark I needed under my fire. You know what I'm saying? So when I trained, I was looking amazing in the gym. Look, my weight was fine. Everything was good. It was going great. And I looked forward to fighting Louis Espinoza. And that's what you need as a fighter. You need those fights. After you become world champion, you prove you're the best. You need something to test you all the time. You need something to test. So, and I did exactly what I said I was going to do. I beat him very easily. He closed his eye. I had his eye closed, everything. I was unscathed, unmarked. I remember one thing in that fight. I told Phil in the 8th round, I'm not getting hit. And Phil slapped me. I said, you're hit now, so go out there and win the fight. So that was a great win for me, and grab my second world title, and I still was able to get all the champions in the ring, but it was crazy.
Yeah, that for me,
it was crazy.
That's one of my favorite wins of yours, to be honest. And 4 months later, you're back out against the eventual WBA Featherweight World Champion. This is another one of my favourite wins of yours, Derrick Gainer. A very entertaining fight that lasted 8 rounds. You had him down in the 3rd, he had you down in the 4th, you had him down in the 5th, and then of course you got him out of there in the 8th. Tell us about that one in Jacksonville. Brilliant fight.
Well, Roy Jones called him. Nobody wants to fight Smoke. It's obvious why they won't fight him. He's a lefty, number 1. And number 2, he's about close to 6 feet. He's fast. He's quick. He's fast like Roy Jones. He's got a lot of tools. And, a lot of guys want to fight him. But when me and Roy came up to the amateurs together, we know each other very well. We're friends. And Roy saw an opportunity, I think, for Smoke, because Smoke and him were best friends. I was just friends with Roy. He was best friends with him. And so opportunity, he knows me. I'll fight anybody, anywhere, and it don't matter. And he offered me to fight. And at first I was like, no, why would I fight him for? He's like rated the top 10. You know what I'm saying? So the way I looked at it was like, I don't have to fight him. So I'm looking for something bigger than me to fight. The problem is, there's nobody bigger than me out there to fight. Number 1 featherweight in the world. Even with the BU belt, I'm still number 1 featherweight in the world. And I'm thinking to myself, okay. So finally I turn around and ask Roy, okay, where I do it. And I told Roy one thing. The fight can't be in Florida. It can't be in Florida because I'm not going by decision. They wanted to be in Florida anyway, 2 weeks for the fight. I go down there. Gators, tall, lanky. I ain't thinking about it much. He's a lefty. I hate fighting lefties because I'm lefty. So I don't like the fight at all because it's lefty. It's going to be a little awkward, a little ugly from time to time. And right in the 3rd round, the eye injury happens, and he hits my lid, and my lid blows up. My eye's all big and huge. Now I got to fight with this thing now, right? And I also know I'm going to lose a decision and lose my belt in Florida. So I knew going to Florida that I'm going to have to knock him out to win. Roy Jones is the promoter. It's on Roy Jones' card. It's in Florida. I mean, like, really, why don't I go fight at his house, right? You know what I'm saying? Why don't I go fight at his home? So I have no way to win that fight, but I have to knock him out. And me and Phil talked many times in the corner. The eye injury just made it more desperate that I had to do it. I was fighting very well with one eye. I dropped to the 5th with one eye. And I could see because with the Cabrito fight, I had both my eyes closed, right? So me having one eye in the Gainer fight was a plus. That's what I looked at it. I didn't look at it as negative. I looked at, oh, my God. No, I looked at it like, well, in the other fight, I couldn't see at all. Now I can see. Remember, I said in the corner. Doctor said, can you see, Mr. Kelley? I said, yes, I got one eye. That's exactly what I meant. Okay, I got one eye. I can see. And I did what you call the Kelley switch there. And it worked. And I knocked him out. And that was a pretty good fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was a great fight to remember. I mean, Tyson's one of Tyson's favorite fights. A lot of guys' favorite fights. People like back and forth, fiascos. But I got Gainer, I knocked him out. I thought he was very dangerous for any other featherweight to fight. I can see why guys don't want to fight him. He's quick, he's fast, a hell of a fighter.
Definitely. And then, of course, you put together a further 3 wins over Edwin Santana, the former WBA Super Bantamweight World Champion, Jesus Salud, then the former WBO Super Bantamweight World Champion, Orlando Fernandez, before then landing that fight at the Madison Square Garden, New York, against our very own Prince Naseem Hamid for the WBO Featherweight World title, December 19th, 1997. I'm going to take a guess and say it's probably the most talked about fight of your career, perhaps. Tell us about it.
No, the top three. Gainer, Dorsey, and Prince. Like I said, I got 72 pro fights. I only hear about 3 of them. It's amazing.
Not on this.
And you want that. Like I said,
we talked about a lot.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, like I said, 3 fights. That's on the top 3. He's on the top 3 fights. People, like I said, there's no such thing as great fighters. Only great fights. Yeah. I think I was the epitome of his career, and that was the final button in mind a little bit. It was my last, actually supposed to be my last featherweight fight ever. I was struggling making featherweight. What happened was, the storyline behind this is what people don't know. I challenged the Prince. I was looking to fight him. I was chasing Tom Johnson. Right? He had beat Tom. Tom gave him an opportunity to fight, and I was pissed off. Because the one thing I knew about Tom Johnson was he couldn't fight southpaws. So I knew when Prince knocked him out that it was because he couldn't fight southpaws. So I knew that was going to happen anyway, right? And I went to England to challenge the Prince. But people don't know that I went to England before that. Remember Paul Hodgkin was champion? Paul Hodgkin that lost to Gordon Vargas?
Yeah.
I went to England and challenged him first when I was mandatory. So this is how long I've been flying, chasing fighters to fight me, right? So I see the Prince in this magazine. So I'm talking to HBO at the time. I'm the leader featherweight they got, only fighter they got. And I'm talking to them, and I said, well, pay me some big money. They're like, what you mean big money? And I was like, big money, you know, you got me on here like me, Del Hoya, Roy Jones. I said, I didn't really pay like these guys. He said, you need an opponent. So, of course, I buy Ring Magazine. Like, guess what I find in Ring Magazine? Chris Naseem Hamid. Right? Never heard of him before, but now I see him, right? He fights at Showtime. I'm on HBO, so I'll take it. Maybe I can use that. So I called my manager, Tom Roth, up right away, and I said, Tom, we need some plane tickets. We're going anywhere, right? I went strictly to challenge him, right? And it wasn't about the bells. It was just about, you know, me make history. And I just felt, you know, I felt he's got it good over there in Europe. I had to bring that over here to America. Maybe you'll pay me, cut the checkbook, right? And I challenged him, and Frank Warren wasn't interested. Neither was he, because they didn't need me for anything. And because they thought, I think, Tom Johnson was the epitome of America, which it wasn't. Because I knew that. Because Tom Johnson wouldn't fight me. It was clever. I'm in America. Why would he fight me? So I said, okay. All right. So I left me and Prince at 8. We talked. We had a good time. He turned pro like in 92. I fought Troy Dorsey 26-0 in 92. So obviously his whole career was in my career. And I seen what he did, and I liked his whole show. I loved his show. I mean, I thought it was good. You know, we had it in America before, Paez and Camacho. We've had that show before, but, you know, him doing it, maybe with me, it'd be something different. And I felt, wow, if he could get this guy to come to the States and fight with me, it'd be big. Because he was Showtime. A lot of people don't watch Showtime. And they told me no. I was shocked. They told me no. So I was like, oh, my God, so what am I going to do now? Right? I think I fought again after that trip. I had one fight, I believe. And I told Tom, we got to get him. And then I heard that he wanted to come to the States. Right? They're like, Grapevine, somebody told me, he wants to come to the States. Right? I said, oh, really? So people don't know that video on YouTube, we had no contract. He didn't know I was going to be there. He just used me as far as, you know, bragging. Oh, Kevin Kelley come to see me. No. He didn't even know I was coming. So what happened was I told Tom, again, we going there again. I figured consistency, well, eventually he'll say yes. And I was coming to the States anyway. So why not stop in New York? So I jumped in the ring, and I challenged him right there in the air. So to leave him in a position where he couldn't back out. Because he really didn't need me. He could have backed out. And that's what got him to come at least to the Garden, right? And I just felt it was going to be because people in America didn't know who he was yet, okay? And I just felt there was going to be I'm going to stop him, and that's going to be the end of it. And I'm going to have to look somebody else, right? Maybe Tracy Patterson, who knows, right? And that's what I felt about it at first, you know, doing a promotion with it. And they kind of did some things. The HBO did some things that were very good, inspirational for me. Like put him on the side of a building when they never did that to me. So New York felt very disrespected. I went and got this guy, and then they pushed him. You know what I'm saying? They put him on the side of a building. They did commercials. They did this. They did. And it was like, wow, New York was very upset. So it was a good thing for New York because now you got New Yorkers are pissed off, right? And they want to see me win too. So now I'm able to sell more tickets, right? So that's the whole idea of it, to sell the tickets. And everybody wants to see this fight now because the New York boy is getting mistreated. And articles coming out, I'm getting mistreated. They're doing this for the Prince, doing that for the Prince. They got a contract waiting for him if he wins. All kinds of things they never offered me. So that part was a benefit as far as the viewage of it because now people feel that the New York boy is being betrayed, right? Being sidetracked, side windowed. Look at him, he's 47-1. And he's worked his way up to this pinnacle, and they treat him this way. It was crazy. So New York was very, very angry and very, very mad, okay, in the Garden because they felt I was very mistreated. I felt mistreated. That's why I went to the press conferences because everybody was giving him all of his teams like he did something in America when I came up the hard way. You know what I'm saying? I had to come up. And I felt betrayed a little bit because I went and got him. He didn't know who Church was. I brought him to Lou DiBella. He didn't know who he was. I said, no, this guy, who is that guy, right? So I felt very, very betrayed a little bit on the way they treated me in that promotion, you know? And it just put a spark into my behind. I think, you know, if it wasn't so much the spark, I would have been more in control in that fight. I would have beat him like I'm supposed to win the fight. But it was unpredictableness and it makes greatness. And me and him made great fight. He fights very similar to me. He's got some of my style in him. Some of the things that he does. I watch, it's kind of funny. I give a little credit to my ex-wife when I was about to fight him. And I was thinking about how can I beat him. And she said to me, how would you beat yourself? And I said, wow, I never thought about that. And she said, he does a lot of things you do. Remember, you're before him, so he did see your whole career, which Prince talked to me about a lot of my fights. So he did watch a lot of my fights. So this way before you even fought. So he knows what I can do. He knows I can punch with both hands. And we have a lot of similarities. We both switch. We both fight righty hand, lefty. So it's just that I was annoyed because my opponents never get up. And that's what I said at the press conference. My opponents never get up. They down. They out. His opponents get up. I said, and why they calling him a harder puncher than me? I couldn't understand that. So I was a little more fuel to the fire. And actually, that fight made us actually very close friends. We still talk to this day. We talk from time to time. And the rematch I knew was never going to happen, but I tried it many times. I'm too close to reality for him. You know what I'm saying? I'm way too close to reality. And, things like that happen to me that motivates me. It makes me a better fighter. It makes me even better, He retired, 2006? I believe he retired? Or 2. Like, his whole career was inside my career, everybody needs an adversary. You need an opponent. Michael Jordan needed the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? He needs your opponent. Batman needs, you need your rivalry. You need your opposite. You know what I'm saying? Batman then is the Joker. At that point, there was no rematch for Dorsey. Nobody wanted to see it. There was no rematch for Gainer. We did rematch one time, but it was the garbage. He just ran. And then for me and the Prince, it was the first fight that people wanted to see a rematch in America. It put people, and to this day, I hear people say, "Man, I was so mad. I was so angry." And I told people it's because everything around that fight, the surrounding, but what they did to me in New York City, the way they treated me, is the way people felt. I felt very unfairly treated. So, and him coming from Europe and being treated better than me, people felt a little bit sidetracked in New York City. But that's what the fight needed. It needed that. Come back in hindsight, because people won't see. New Yorkers are like the Rocky movie. We're in the bottom, we're the gutter, and we come up and make it. You know what I'm saying? People root for people like that. Okay, Donald Trump's from Queens. He's the president of the United States now. So people root for people like that. Okay, we root for people. We got the rappers that come out of the ghettos and make it to the top, and that's what New York is really focused on. I'm a street kid from New York City, from Brooklyn and Queens, right? And I'm in big, major events. Of course, in New York wants to put me back, and I fight with everything I got. You know what I'm saying? So, but the biggest thing with that fight was, I would say, is the disappointment that the New York felt when the referee stopped the fight. The last knockdown, when I rolled over on my knee, I was looking at my trainer. I was looking to slow down. I was going too fast. But first, I was being out of control. He had me out of control. I give him credit. I was out of control. He told me that he didn't know where he was for the first 3 rounds. And so we both faced our first sense of something new that was going on. I was out of control. He was a little bit phased and didn't know where he was. So we both were going, but it's hard for our trainers to control us because we were dealing with other factors in the ring. Okay? And the bottom line was, I was throwing missiles at him, right? And he was trying to avoid them. And it was like he was in his boxing mind, but he was grouped. In round 4, he had regrouped quicker than I regrouped. And I was just running into punches because I kept getting up from everything he threw. So I was like, all right, cool, that's all right, let's go. And one time I felt I hit the harder of the two, so I felt when I hit him, mine's going to do way more damage than his. So the thing was, I took it for granted. I was running in, and I give him credit for it. He do an overhand left. He do overhand left, come inside of my head. And I was falling off down at the same time as it hit me. And then I hit the ground. And when I hit the ground, I rolled on my knee real fast. And I'm saying to myself, Kevin, you're an idiot. You know what I'm saying? I'm really, you're an idiot. Psychologically, I was a wreck. And I was looking at Phil trying to regroup, but the ref's counting, And I hit 9, and then I snap back in. I get up to where they stop the fight. And Benji Evans grabbed me, And my trainer had said to Benji in the dressing room, don't stop this fight. Everything will go down. I guarantee it. Don't stop this fight. So that was a big discussion, and the out of controlness, and being Prince was so cocky and arrogant, people like to see him lose, right? So some people in Europe just talk to me. I was like, I beat that guy. So it was actually me and him make a great. He's my partner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't have the same thing with Dorsey or with Gainer that I had with him. You know what I'm saying? With him, he's that fight that the rematch that never happens. He's that, like, if Ali Frazier fought the first time and never fought again, that people want to see to this day. Okay, he's my partner because you need a guy like him. Every time some people see me in the street, they say, Kelley Prince, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? That fight did I thought it was going to happen and go away. That's what I really thought it was going to happen. I didn't think much of it. I really, really, really did. Maybe I thought more than I was one fight. You know what I'm saying? But I really didn't think much of it because at that point, I'm 47-1, and I'm thinking, myself, I want to fight Junior Jones. He won't fight me either. But I was thinking at that point, I'm going to go to England to get this guy over here. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy. And I told Fritz he don't understand how I came up and how he came up. To me, he was like giving a golden ticket. You know what I'm saying? He had to win fights, of course, but he was groomed. You know what I'm saying? I had to kick the door down and open my space up. You know what I'm saying? It's two different careers. I'm open door kicking my but that fight actually put the fight, Barrera, Morales, all these other guys that came after us, and make them millionaires because of that fight. That was the kick down the door fight that put us in position. As I looking back in hindsight, I looked at that fight as my door opener. I needed him to do it. He needed me to do it. We needed that because boxing is about great fights, and you need opponents. You need great matchups that people remember forever. And to this day, they're going to mention in my top three. They're going to mention me and the Prince every single time. And they're going to mention me and Dorsey and me and Gainer every single time. I got 72 pro fights. I don't hear about Vargas. I don't hear about Espinoza. I don't hear about that guy Edwin Santana. I don't hear about nobody but those three fights. You know what I'm saying? And every single time. And as a European, I'm going to hear about the Prince because he's from Europe. I expect that. And I'm going to hear about people from Dorsey because of New York and they seen that fight. And Gainer. And those three fights are the epitome of who I am. You know what I'm saying? And those three fights right there are probably, I looked at it as some of the greatest fights that I've had. You know what I'm saying? But I also count Ricardo Rivera in because I had to save myself for that fight too. So I give all my credit to the guard, man, to God, all of it, because I didn't know I had it in me. He put it in me, and for me to have the fortitude to come back to where I knock guys out like I do is amazing. It's amazing to me too. So I'm a spectator of the Flushing Flash like Kevin Kelley. Kevin Kelley is a fan of Flushing Flash too because, those things that I pull out my hat somehow, and how to get rid of guys is a blessing.
Yeah, and I mean,
it's truly, truly a blessing.
Just to recap on the fight, obviously you had him down in the first round and the second. He had you down in the second and the fourth. His glove hit the canvas in the fourth, which obviously was ruled a knockdown. Then you were down in the fourth. But, just again, like you hit him with some brilliant shots, and I've never seen him react as bad to any shots he'd ever been hit with after that even. You really hit him with some brilliant shots. What was his power like though? Some people obviously love him, some people hate him, some people say he was underrated, some people say he was overrated. How good was he honestly in your opinion?
He fought like me, he's a very good fighter. I think me personally he's a good boxer. I think me personally, to me, at 30, I have 45. You know what I'm saying? When my shots hit him, it was shaking. I mean, I knocked him out of his shoes. He told me. So I was obviously the harder puncher because I don't think he would have killed with the 35 or 40 like I did. But I felt that I was unappreciated by the press and the media, and his was expected. And the bottom line was, Prince, he asked me before, well, I was the hardest puncher to hit for. No, he wasn't. Punching power is perception. I tell everybody, it don't mean because I say that's the hardest puncher I fought that he didn't hit hard. You get my point? It's just that he don't hit. He hits hard because he knocked me down, of course, right? But the thing is, is that the hardest? I mean, I jumped right up, but is that the hardest puncher? No, Vargas was the hardest puncher I got in the ring with, punching power wise. And I told that to Mayweather before he fought him. Mayweather agreed with me. Okay, Vargas is like a mule, right? We don't know where the power comes from, but it's like a mule. James Pitts is another guy who I knocked out, but he is a very, very hard puncher. Punching power is perception. Okay? It's perception. Like, he might have fought Tom Johnson, and if he said to me, I think Tom Johnson is harder than you, That's perception. It don't make him wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because punching power is what you think. If a guy hits you, right, and one guy hits you, another guy hits you, another guy hits you, you might say this guy hit harder, but this guy say, I'm stronger than the other guy. How can I hit harder than me? It's not the detail of it. You know what I'm saying? It's what perception is. My perception. He could punch a little bit, of course, to put me down. But did he have staying power? No. But the thing was, and like I told in the press conference, if you watch his knockouts and watch mine, my guys don't get up. So when I hit him, he's so flexible. He's like Pacquiao. He's so flexible. When you hit him, he absorbs the shot. It's amazing. It's amazing to have you watch it. It's amazing. I told him, you're amazing. Because when I hit you, those shots I hit him with, nope, they would have never got up. And I told you, that was anybody else, they would have never got up. It would have been over. Fight's over. Yeah. Take the mouthpiece out, he ain't getting up. Right? But because he's so flexible and he does all the gymnastic stuff, that he was able to absorb the shots. You know what I'm saying? I could see it on. When I hit him, it's like his whole back would arch. Amazing. It's amazing. It truly is. It's truly amazing. But like I said, I knew those same shots. Those are the same shots I hit Gainer with. That he ain't going to get up. You know what I'm saying? And I got a lot of knockouts in my career. You can see, when I hit guys the same punches I hit them with, they don't get up. You know what I'm saying? They're down. So it definitely surprised me a little bit when the one he took was his glove touched the ground, when I hit him twice like that. I'm surprised he took that. I'm surprised. I was very shocked that he took that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I was shocked. And I just felt I wasn't catching him right. You know what I'm saying? But the plan, the strategy for Prince was to knock him out round 7 because he can't recover. That was the goal plan. That's what we had trained to do. It wasn't early as it was. What happened was when I got out of control, Phil was trying to guide me back in control the first, the second, and third round. I wanted him out as fast as I could get him out. I wanted the fight to be over. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't feel that in that fight it was big. It turned into a monster when it was over. But I didn't feel that fight was going to be like what it is now. You know what I'm saying? I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it like he's a guy doing some tricks like Pacquiao used to do with Camacho. Right? I'm going to knock him out and move on. So hopefully I get Tom Johnson in the ring or one of those guys. I didn't think it was going to be that big. But you never know. And when it turns into a monster, the next day when I woke up Sunday morning, right, all of a sudden the phones are ringing, the ratings are crazy, everything's good. I'm like, wow. So I'm pretty impressed. So like I said, he became Batman and Robin. We've been, you know what I'm saying? The rematch, I would have loved to have it. I would have loved to have it. He wasn't going to do it. I can't say I understand him because I would have did it if it was him. You know what I'm saying? But I'm too dangerous for him. And he knew it. But the thing was, what can you say? You know what I'm saying? I felt that the epitome of my career would have been a rematch with him. And that was late in my career. And I wasn't actually a young buck anymore, by that time. So realistically, 97. Remember, I turned pro in 88. So we're looking at 9 years in the tooth there, in my 30s. You know what I'm saying? And that's actually, I was vacated the BU belt for that fight. After that, I was still champion of the world, actually, for the BU, but I vacated the belt. And I moved up to 35. I beat Humberto Soto. So I was still beating guys. So it was amazing. It was, even for me, it was amazing. But the rematch, we offered some money to buy a few $1 million. I heard about it. And I accepted, but he didn't accept the fight. But I heard they were doing the rematch and the buy. I don't know who's going to do it or put it together, but I heard some rumors. I don't know if it was rumors or false. I told my manager, Tom, I said, let's do that. You know what I'm saying? If that's going to be in the butt, let's go. In America, that's an income. You know what I'm saying? We look at it as income. And I have nothing to prove. I proved it already. The two-time world champ. I had 5 belts, 2 junior worlds, one BU, BC. So to me, I had nothing to prove. I was on HBO. I was on the we started it. You know what I'm saying? There was nothing left to prove in boxing but make money. And if me and Pritzker did it together, that's what I was going to put together. I created my own little niche by doing that fight. And it seemed like me and him had a niche, but I need my partner. You got to want to step up. You know what I'm saying? You got to want to do it. And Prince told me, he said, I'll fight anybody. I'll fight Barrera before I fight you. Ever. And I understand the styles make fights. And I have nothing to prove. Like I said, he's a good boxer. Like I said, it's very hard to beat. But he didn't come up like I did. You know what I'm saying? He didn't come up like you read the numbers. You see the guys. You see the record. The numbers don't lie. And he didn't come up like I did. And I looked at like the Europeans. Because I fought a lot in Europe. You look at my record. I got a lot of fights in Holland. Virginia Tour was my partner. You know what I'm saying? And we fought in Holland a lot. So I see how the Europeans do things. I like the way you do them over here. You make events. You know what I'm saying? You make events. You know, and it's an amazing thing. Here in America, I'm competing with everybody from Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods. All these guys I'm competing against. So, you know, it's a little harder to make it here in America. Very hard to make it in America. You know, because you're competing against so much. You know, we got too much music, too much this, too much that. We overwhelmed, and it changes quickly. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This guy's great. Oh, no, push him out the way. You know, so it's just crazy in America. It's very difficult to be on a level that I was on and maintain it and hold it, because you need your partners to make great games, and that's the bottom line. There's no such thing as great fighters, only great fights.
Yeah, and you two were each other's dance partner, if you like. Going back to the timeline, Kev, obviously, you know, 5 months later, you get the win against Vincent Howard, then you have the rematch with Derrick Gainer. What happened in that one there?
See, Gainer was running. I really didn't want the fight. I turned the fight down over and over. I didn't want it. I knocked him out in the 8th round. What did I need a rematch for? Right? Roy Jones doubled the purse. What am I supposed to do? I mean, that's how I feed my kids, right? So Roy Jones doubled the purse. Then the first one, I'm like, oh, my God, he doubled the purse. I got to do this, right? At that time, I vacated my belt to be useful. Enough for the belt in the garden, right? Gainer wants to win on me. I told Gainer. I told Smoke on the phone. I said, Smoke, it doesn't mean anything. Do I knock you out of it? I said, that's like Tommy Hearns asking Hagler for a rematch. I said, are you serious? Right? I said, it doesn't matter now. It's over. Right? I said, it's over. I said, let's say accidentally you win somehow. Right? I said, you win. I said, only one's going to satisfy is you. The public ain't going to see it. Right? So, after I say, yeah, Roy Jones doubled the purse. I'll say, of course. And he fighting the gun, he runs, and I give him 2 fake knockdowns, hits me in the shoulder one time. Another time he hits me behind the head. They call it. I'm like, what? I'm pissed off. But he gets when I told him after the fight was over, I said, okay, now you got a W. Let's see what it does for you. It did nothing for him, just like I said. But then he went on to become world champion after that. Yeah. He actually gets a title shot against Freddie Norwood and wins the belt. It was an ugly win. Okay, very ugly win, but he becomes world champion after that. I wound up going on to beat Soto. He becomes world champion, 3-time world champion after that. So, and this is late in my career. And I'm hearing talk of friends coming back. At that time, I'm fighting lightweight. I'm not even fighting featherweight no more. And after the fight, I told you I was shifted to Dubai, but I don't know where it went. So, it took off somehow. So, you know, and, you know, my career was winding down. Yeah. And like I said, you know, I spent a lot of time. Guys won't fight me. They don't want to fight me. They can just rob me of a decision, fight different guys. You know, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? They only want to win. They're going to get a win. But I'm not a guaranteed win because I knock guys out. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? So I understand as a promoter, I'm dangerous. I got it. You know what I'm saying? But Top Rank stopped using me because I kept beating their fighters. I beat 3 of the fighters in a row that they're supposed to win. I knocked them all 3 out, and then Top Rank stopped using me. So boxing slowly pushes you out the game anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, again, we've seen.
You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're assigned to a promoter. Yeah, you're not, because you're not a benefit for them. And I got it. It's a business. It's a business. It is a business.
And again, you know, in that same year after that, after the Gainer rematch, you know, you stop former world title challenger Jorge Ramirez in 9 in California. You then move into 1999. You outpoint eventual 2-time world title challenger Hector Velasquez in Las Vegas over 10. That's when that strange fight happens. 3 months later, that unanimous loss in a 10-rounder to Benito Rodriguez, who had a losing record at the time. What happened there?
Yeah, I beat him years ago. He's the same guy. You know that, right? I knocked him out. I fought that same guy. I knocked him out. This is funny. Okay. I go to the street. Where's that fight at? I remember the fight, but where's the fight? Where was it at?
It was in Louisiana.
Okay, so I go to Louisiana. I don't know why I took the fight. I was just fighting just to make income, right? And I go down there and I see this guy, and I go, look, it's kind of familiar. He changed his name. In Mexico, they do that. Changed his name. I knocked this guy. I knocked him out in my career. Look him up. His name was something else. I think it was my 8th or 9th pro fight. I knocked him out up in upstate New York. It's on my record. It's actually on my record. I beat the same guy. So I knocked him out. I see him again, and I'm like, what the hell? Right? And I'm like, this guy, he's got a different name. I fought that guy, right? So I go in the ring with him. I don't know. I'm just going through the motions. At that point in my career, I'm just going through the motions, right? And he wins the decision. So I'm thinking to myself, how the hell did this guy win, right? So if you watch that fight, you're like, what the hell's going on? So I didn't pay no mind to it. I'm like, all right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. It wasn't like his record was he's going to go somewhere with this thing. You know what I'm saying? And it was kind of strange. It was kind of very, very strange. Because I stopped him in the 6th round with the left hand. I remember stopping him. I got the fight on film.
That's crazy.
His name was something else. He was an opponent for me like up and coming, like when I'm 9-10-0. I stopped him with a straight left hand.
That's crazy, man.
I think Gil Clancy was the commentator. Right, I stopped it. So obviously at that point in my career, it was about a lack of motivation, not a lack of dedication, but lack of motivation, lack of, this is what direction am I going in now? I was pretty much, try not to get hurt. That was my biggest thing at that point in my career. But at the same time, maybe I'll fall into a check. You know what I'm saying? A nice check somewhere. But knowing that I'm not signed to any promoters, nobody's going to give me a check because Top Rank's looking at me, ain't looking at me. Neither is any other promoter looking at me, going to say, well, you know what I'm saying? I'm too dangerous to fight against and not going to get them a guaranteed win. So, you know what I'm saying? I could see the space I was in. You know what I'm saying? But the only thing that was out there was really everybody wanted to still see the rematch with me and the Prince. So when they mentioned it, right, of course I jumped at it, okay? But he's retired already. You know what I'm saying? He's done. So it was a very hard place to live in. But, like I said, in America, we got a lot harder than guys in Europe and other countries because, when you're a fighter, that's what you do for a living. You know what I'm saying? That's what you do for a living. So the days were numbered. I was getting older. I was still dangerous, still training. Still my reflexes, but I didn't have the same motivation I had, coming up. But I was still beating guys. You know what I'm saying? So,
you were.
And then I was a medal.
Yeah, because 5 months later, they put you in with the undefeated prospect at the time, Frankie Archuleta, and you took his O, didn't you? You stopped him in 9.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That was...
that was a atrocious knockout. Yeah. That was a bad knockout, too.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why the promoters didn't want to put you in with their young guns.
Yeah. Yeah, also I was on the Sugar Shane Mosley card. He fought Woody Wise and Vernon Forrest fought Vince Phillips. It was a triple header, right? They put me in the card almost not really last minute, but I had 2 months before. And they thought, and Shane did me a favor, put me on. And it was a TV fight, Hard Rock. They only showed Vernon Forrest, and I just barely made it. But Frank Castaneda was actually a good fighter, I guess, from New Mexico. And I remember stopping him. I remember he got knocked out bad. Like I said, that's what amazed me about the Prince. I hit him with shots that I had other guys with. They ain't getting out. Once I touch him, they're gone. I know it's gone. He was absorbing the punches. It was an amazing thing to watch because he's so flexible that when I hit him, he absorbed the shots.
Yeah, and 8 months later, you're back against Eric Morales in Texas. Tell us about that fight there. Obviously, you were over there.
Well, the Morales stuff, all of that stuff was at a weight I didn't exist no more in, okay? And that was good promotion, what they did on the end, but it was good money to me get paid. So Morales, I fought in 11 days' notice.
Wow.
I had to lose 12 pounds in 11 days. So Morales' fight was a setup. Morales' fight was just a TV fight using my name. I'm not the same, you know what I'm saying? Fighting at featherweight because I wanted to fight Morales and Barrera when I was a featherweight, and HBO went and put them against me because I was a destroyer. So by this time in my career, this time of my age, by this time I'm a lightweight, and how that fight came about was they asked me would I fight Morales, and I said yeah, and I'm thinking at lightweight, and I stepped the fight, and then I come to find out 2 days later I got to weigh 126 or no fight. So if you pay me 6 figures and I've been getting 2, you know what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to say, okay. And hopefully, and the fight was just stopped because I was taking punches. The fight was stopped because my corner was waving a white towel because Tom thought that, this is what Tom said before the fight. He said, Kevin, we're going to fight the last 30 seconds. You know, the whole trick. The last 30 seconds of the round because I had to lose 11 pounds. It was kind of concern for me. 11 pounds in 12 pounds in 11 days. So, and I'd be featherweight. Remember, the last fight I fought featherweight was Prince. I had fought featherweight. Once I fought Prince, I was no longer featherweight. I was a lightweight. So I got to make 126. So I made 26. So Tom's idea was, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to let you know the last 30 seconds went right. So I remember the guy, the referee, Lawrence Cole. Lawrence Cole's referee. And Tom was waving a towel. And after the fight stopped, I looked at Lawrence Cole. So why he stopped the fight? He said, your trainers are waving the towel. So I asked him in the locker room. Tom was waving the towel because he thought it was 30 seconds. The clock went behind. He forgot to do the stopwatch. He was stupid. So I lost that one, right? And I told Morales after the fight, can we fight at lightweight? I asked him. I said, can we fight at lightweight? Right? I wanted to fight him at lightweight. Because when I was knocked off Frank Garcioletta, I was going to fight David Diaz for the world title. You know, he pulled out. That's when I fought Frank Garcioletta. Because I said, if you beat Frank Garcioletta, because they want him to win. If you beat Frank Garcioletta, we'll let you fight David Diaz. But so I knocked him out. David Diaz said no.
Gosh.
So I was used to that in my career like that. So I fought Morales on 11 days' notice. Right? So I told Morales to fight a lightweight. I fought you a featherweight. Right? I had to walk around 40, 42, 43, train, stay around that weight. So I fought 35. I was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? But I knew that fight was a throwaway. You know what I'm saying? I knew the fight was a throwaway. You know, the body shot I was down. So I was half myself, less than half myself, matter of fact.
Yeah, definitely.
126. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it wasn't me. It wasn't Kevin Kelley. He's beating the legend of Kevin Kelley.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the thing was, like, I was like,
no, that's
I didn't care. Like I said, at that point, I'm like, you know. And then the Barrera thing was also the same thing. I fought Barrera to fracture rib. I had to make featherweight for him too. So like I said, those are two fights that, you know, I divulge it, but it is what it is. That I fought them in a weight class that I no longer existed in. You know what I'm saying? By that time, you know, 2003, I was fighting lightweight. You know, so I fought Morales at featherweight and I fought Barrera at featherweight. You know, good management. They had good management, good promotion, but they were offering good money. Like I said, nobody's paying me that kind of money they were paying me at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, completely.
So the bottom line, yeah.
So like we say, you know, after the Morales fight, you took off 19 months before coming back. You come back with 3 wins. Obviously, the win against Raul Franco, then of course Humberto Soto, then Johnny West.
I beat Soto. It's funny story. I beat Soto with one arm. You know that, right? I hurt my arm, spawned Wayne McCullough. I spawned Wayne McCullough for the fight. And it was for the BU title, right? I mean, the NABO title. Yeah. NABO hit the Latin in Vegas.
NABA.
And Tom goes, right? And Tom goes, Kevin, you win this belt? Kevin, I get you a title fight. I said, bet. Right? I hurt my arm, spawned Wayne McCullough the week before the fight. I was taking Celebrex, right? Anti-inflammatory. So my wife at the time says, you going to take this fight with a hurt arm? I said, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I saw a belt. I didn't even know how good. I didn't care how good Bertolo was. I didn't care nothing about him. As a matter of fact, I tried to fight the guy that beat him, Bertolo, named Alex Rodriguez. I watched the tape, and Tom showed me the tape, and I said, I want Alex, I want the guy that won. I was beat Soto. And Alex turned me down. So I said, I'll take Soto then. I never even heard of him. But for the belt, like I said, motivation. That's motivation. You win this, I get you a title shot. Okay, good. I'm motivated. I hurt my arm, my right arm, jabbing Wayne McCullough. You got some rain about this one day. I do a jab. He caught my jab, pulled the leg of my right arm. I go to the doctor. I'm on Celebrex. Can't tell nobody I'm hurt, right? I go, I say, I'm going to win this fight. Watch this. And I go win the fight. 12-round decision. I beat Humberto Soto. One arm.
Yeah, that's a brilliant win again.
And guess what? And then he wins 19 fights after that in a row.
Wow.
19 fights after I beat him with one arm. And then he wins a world title. Then he wins another world title. And this is after I beat him with one arm. Crazy. Even for me, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he's still...
It just shows I'm motivated.
He's still a decent fighter today, even.
Yeah.
You know? It
just shows that I'm motivated. I can beat anybody. The bottom line is, like I said, you know, late in the career, it's like, you know, you can only run on 10 so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, people want me to be on my 10, but as you get older and as I got less things to shoot for, I can't stay on 10. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But and this is all the stuff you're talking about is after the first fight. If you think about it, that's a third career. Not even first or second. That's a third career. This is after the first fight.
About 6 or 7 careers in one.
Yeah, it's crazy. And people, like I said, you know, it's crazy. And like, you know, I look at it when I was talking like crazy. Like, you know, my mother. One thing I was always back to. My mother always told me, Kevin, be the best. Be the best. You know what I'm saying? And that's what, even as an older gentleman, I was doing, right? And it just came time where I'll be up in roller coaster. I'll be okay, and I want to do it, and I'll be down. I don't want to do it no more. There's got to be something else for me out there. Okay, want to do it. But then if they shot a challenge my way, something I'm supposed to lose, that's why I win fights. Because I know you're bringing me in to lose. And that's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to happen. So that's what gets me motivated. So you can motivate me, watch out. You know, and that's what happens with Virtual Soto and a lot of these guys. You know what I'm saying? And Golden Boy stopped fighting me, so I knocked a few of their fighters out. So they stopped using me. You know, Top Rank stopped using me, so I started getting blackballed. You know what I'm saying? And that's crazy.
But yeah, you spoke about the Marco Antonio Barrera fight briefly. Yeah, that obviously was another big fight of yours. But after that, you put together another 4-fight win streak, including a knockout win in only 2 rounds against former 3-time world title challenger Juan Carlos Ramirez, before boxing Bobby Pacquiao in a fight that took place at the Madison Square Garden. 4-round TKO loss for yourself. June 10th, 2006. What do you remember about that one, Kev?
Well, what happened was, like I said, motivation. I'm really just a straggler, right? I'm straggling around, hoping I trip and fall in something big, right? And the fight comes up, and I'm like, I don't want this. For what? He's got 12 losses, 15 losses, something like that, right? I'm like, for what? And I get this endorsement. They'll give me $20,000 to wear a patch. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So I need to fight, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. So they throw Bobby in there. I'm supposed to fight somebody else. I'm like, throw Bobby in. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll take it, whatever, right? I'm just trying to get in the ring to get the check, right? I'm not really as motivated as I should be, and I know it. I don't know. I looked at it on film. I just felt like my ribs collapsed, right? My ribs collapsed. So him with a body shot, I guess him with a body shot, and it took more effect than it should. I think it got the Barrera rib. I think it's the same rib that Barrera, fractured my rib. Into a Barrera fight. But how that happened was I was up in training in the desert in Coachella, in the desert, and I had to come down to featherweight. On Thursday, I was fine, but on Friday, Phil, my trainer, wanted me to spar again. I said, Phil, we shouldn't push this envelope. I'm featherweight. I ain't been featherweight since when? Morella fight and the Prince fight. Let's not take it for granted. We did. I threw a punch. I missed. I twisted my rib cartilage. So I had a bad injury over it. I guess he must have hit it, right? And I could not get up. I was paralyzed. But it did me a favor. Let me tell you what happened. You don't know what happened in this fight. Before this fight, okay, they challenged me to fight Carlos Formosa Hernandez. Remember that? I'd be a former avenge champion in the world, right?
Yeah, we had him on.
They challenged me to fight him.
Yeah.
Right? Now, he said no. He said no. He told me no. And I said, I'd love to fight Carlos. Let's shoot for another champion, right? So it's something, give me, at this point in my career, motivation. So I don't mind fighting Carlos Formosa Hernandez. So I fight Bobby. Bobby gets to win. Okay, congratulations, Bobby. You're going to know with it, right? Congratulations. Formosa calls us up and wants to fight me now. So, of course, there you go again. You're doing the wrong thing, but you're doing the right thing for me. You're motivating me because now you think you can win. Because, Bobby can't spar with me. What are you talking about? But at the end of the day, guess what? Okay, I'll take the fight. My ex-wife, ex-wife, she's pregnant. She's about 9. Let's see. Yeah, she's pregnant. The fight's in Texas. I never forget it. The fight's in Texas, and she delivers the baby, right? I'm in the hospital, right? And I get the call from Tom. And Tom says, Kevin, Carlos Formosa Hernandez called, and he wants to fight you. This is after the Bobby fight. So my ex-wife thinks, well, she's messing up now, but she thinks I should retire because after the Bobby, rather go home. I'm thinking I need that motivation. So that was motivation for me because I needed something so bad to happen to me so I can rise to the occasion, right? So I got the perfect storyline. Bobby beats me. Congratulations. Now everybody thinks my career is over. Oh, really? So Formosa calls Tom and wants to fight me now. But he turned me down. So I felt so betrayed. So I go, yes. My wife is tripping out. She's like, are you serious? Are you serious? I said, don't worry about it. I'm going to fight easy. She's like, are you serious? All right, we just had a baby and all this craziness, right? I said, don't worry about it. It's like 2 months away from now, right? So she thinks I'm crazy, right? I'm going to show you how scared everybody was, right? Tom didn't even show up. This is how crazy this is. Tom doesn't even show up. He's the manager. He don't show up. I'm with team, and that's it, right? My wife doesn't want to show up. So what happened was, she calls me 2 days before the fight. She don't want to be this. Everybody's going to get massacred. That's why I love this. I'm like, oh, my God. Watch what I do to him, right? And I needed this motivation. I got a motivation again. So she don't want to come. Two days want to fight. She decides to call and to buy me a ticket. I'm be there. I'll buy her a ticket, fly her and the baby out, right? So now she's in Texas. I'm in Texas. Of course, everybody's scared because my first loss, guess where that happened? Taliaferro Gonzales in Texas. So they think that I have a bad omen in Texas. So, and I'm trying to, after fighting Bobby, I'm going to fight Formosa. Are you serious? So I'm like, okay, no problem. I got this easy. Trust me, right? So I fight Formosa, right? And you know what happened? I dropped him in the fourth round and had him knocked out cold, right? Had him hurt, beat him easy, right? And I told him this in the press conference. I said, thank you, Formosa. We're friends to this day. We talk all the time. I talked to Formosa, I talked to Dorsey, and I told Formosa, I said, listen, I want to thank you. I need adversity. I hope they think that you're going to beat me. Right? I told them this. I said, I hope they think, I said, Formosa, you're a hell of a fighter. You're a hell of a fighter. I said, but let me tell you something. You can't beat me. You can't. Right? Because I know a lot of guys can't beat me because they just don't got the reflexes or speed. They just don't got it. So I told him, you're not going to beat me. Trust me, you're not going to beat me. Right? And I told him this at the press conference. I told him this. And, of course, I beat him. And, of course, I'm rejuvenated again, right? But people didn't understand. It was the motivation that people were giving me that I had when I was coming up. I was getting it back in spurts, bits and pieces. Okay? That's what makes me rise to the occasion because that's what I need. It comes in bits and pieces. It makes more sense. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I beat Formosa. That was a great thing. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And we tried this day. We cool. But like I said, these are great challenges. You know, that's what makes great fights.
Yeah, and like I said, we had him on last week's show. We spoke about the fight. It just seems like when you look back over your career, you know, there was so many times where I guess a lot of people thought you were done, but then you'd pull a big win out of your hat and surprise everyone, and everyone was backtracking. It seems like the story of your career.
Yeah.
6 weeks.
Yeah, because the big thing.
Sorry, go on, Kev. Go on.
Because the big thing, like I said, my goal is motivation, right? When I was coming up, it was easy to be motivated because everybody is more than me. So I'm saying when everybody got more than you, it's easier for you to be motivated. But when you got more than everybody else, then it's hard to stay motivated. So the bottom line is, you know, I'm supposed to win. I've been supposed to win my whole career. Okay? Undefeated 10-0, 20-0, 30-0, 40-0. You know what I'm saying? Undefeated. That's crazy. So the bottom line is I'm supposed to win. That's a harder position to fight for. You know what I'm saying? And then once you put me in a position where you got a guy, you got me underdog against Luis Espinoza. You got me underdog against Carlos Hernandez. You got me, what I'm saying? On those circumstances, those are like, okay, those are easy wins for me. Because now you motivated me. I'm a bad dude to motivate. I'm the wrong guy to motivate. So they didn't realize that I wouldn't say that to the press, not because it would put them on cue. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to alert them. I want them to think, like Luis Espinoza, 4-1 underdog. How can I be 4-1 underdog? I take that as a disrespect. I'm 4-1 underdog. Really? Oh, watch this. And that motivation, when I go to the gym, I fight like I never fought before. I box like I never boxed before. I'm faster, I'm quicker, I hit harder, I'm better. I'm faster. I got something to shoot for. You know? It's like the rematch of the Prince. I already got it. Because I was supposed to win the first one. Okay, watch this. You know what I'm saying? Now he's going to see a different fighter. He's going to see a different fighter this time because he's not the fighter you expect. I change my style every time. I change my style to do sharper things, fight smarter. I know Barrera watched the tape to fight the Prince. I know he watched the tape. But he just keep your composure. You know what I'm saying? But he makes you lose composure. I even sparred with Augie Sanchez when Augie Sanchez fought the Prince. I sparred him for that fight. And he put the Prince down, 2 times? I told him over and over again. I said, listen, you can win this fight. Just told him. I said, but all you have to do is keep your composure. Don't get excited. Do not get excited. Keep your composure. I said, you got a chance of dropping him because Augie's punch very short. I sparred Augie Sanchez all the time. And I sparred him for that fight. I wasn't trying to go against the Prince, but you know what I'm saying? And he was paying me money to spar him. So I was okay. Right? And I told him, get some instructions to this. Just keep your composure. Do not get overzealous. Do not. He'll take advantage of you. You get overzealous. That's all you did. And he got knocked out.
Yeah. And the final fight I'm going to ask you about of your career, Kev, 6 weeks after that win over over Carlos Hernandez. You're back out boxing former 5-time world champion Manuel Medina. You lost a majority decision, a close fight over 12 rounds back at the Madison Square Garden.
That was crazy.
Was that kind of like your last hurrah, if you like? But tell us about the fight, of course.
Everybody in the arena thought that I got robbed. That's what they said. And I felt that way, too. I mean, I had him knocked out. They told me I had to knock him out. Medina, I wasn't going to fight Medina for years. And it never came together. But that fight, I can watch it. I thought I was overpowering him. I was strong arming him. He had titty fat punches. I didn't think he was that much. You know what I'm saying? I watched it just to view it. I thought that, how can I lose? This is the bad part. This is the major, major bad part. How do I lose a fight on my own manager promotion in New York City at the Garden? Does that make sense to you? And he'll fight against a Mexican? Now, if I fought him in Mexico, I'm guaranteed to lose. Correct?
Yeah.
I'm guaranteed to lose. Right? I'm guaranteed. Even if I win, I lose. So I was thinking, okay, I got to knock this guy out. We're in the Garden. Right? We're in the Garden. I got to push that hard. And guess what? He got a decision on me. A majority. Really close majority decision. You know how those go. Right? So I'm thinking to myself, of course, everybody in New York is pissed off because the bottom line is, how do I lose a decision in the Garden? I told Tom, are you serious? This is your promotion. How can I lose a decision to him? I was very upset. Like I said, that's what bothered me, you know what I'm saying? Because, it's like I take my feet off the gas and he goes the distance as a former champ. I respect him. He's an IBF champion, good fighter. But not enough to beat me. You know what I'm saying? He don't deserve a win on me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, him and his career and me and my career, different careers. They're way different careers. You know what I'm saying? And the way I saw it was, why do I got to try to knock everybody out and I fight to guarantee wins? I felt that in my whole career. Even as an amateur, I felt that way. I never felt that I had to go the distance. That's why I lost so much trouble to Prince, because I felt the only way I'm going to get the decision, especially when they were treating him like that, you know what I'm saying? I got to knock you out to solidify the win.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
But it's so why do you think that way? Because I'm right. Because every time I thought that way, when I was nice with Bones, and he's my friend and everything else, they made it a draw.
Yeah.
Tommy Pork, they made it a draw. When they tell me, even in my career, when I fought with Della, the 8-round fight, don't knock him out, Kev. Keep him up. And I do this other stuff. Every time it's like I stab my own self in the back. If I don't go in with tenacity like I normally do, I wind up hurting my own self.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the bad part. Like I said, me and Marvin Hagler have a great deal in common in boxing. You know what I'm saying? We have a great deal in common in boxing. And it's very, very true. I always felt I was always side swindled or pushed to the side, and I've created a lot of things, but I always found out in life, the man that's the pioneer never gets the just dues, Never gets it. Never gets rewards. Everybody else after him gets rewards. Like you talk about Michael Jordan. I said, what about Dr. J? Do you remember Michael Jordan if it was into Dr. J? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, you're right.
People forget.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's what I always felt like. I always felt like the third wheel or the third heel. It's like, I understand. I had to open the door for everybody. I get it. But the bottom line was, I opened the door, but they kept shutting the door when it came to my opportunities. It sucks, but that's what it is. And I understand it, and I understand it. So that's what the press card was about. It's like, I was just getting my just dues, and when I get my just dues, I bring this guy in, and yet, y'all glorifying him. Every time New York was so pissed off, like, wait a second. So, it's like, boxing, it's like I said, I loved it. It's like my second wife, but the bottom line is, at the end of the day, it's a changing game. When I was coming up, of course, I understand. Promoters love you. The greatest thing to happen, you're making them some money. On your way out the door, you know what I'm saying? You're like an ex-girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? You're like an ex-girlfriend. They don't care as much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like that analogy.
And that's the truth.
And from there, obviously, you boxed 3 more times, a win over Jaime Palmer, followed by a defeat to David Rodella, then a loss to Vicente Escobedo, before you decide to hang them up for good in 2009. You finish with a record of 60 wins, 10 losses, and 2 draws. I want to ask you a couple of quick questions before we wrap it up, Kev, if we're still good. I want to ask you this. What are you up to nowadays? What gets you out of bed nowadays, Kev?
Well, I still train a little bit. I got a machine called the Strike Back Training System. I have a show on Instagram of doing that, but I get out of bed to go to work. I sell vacations. I work not a timeshare resort, but I sell timeshare properties. to travel with and stuff like that. I trained Ocho Cinco, the football player for the NFL. I trained him for 5 years. I was doing that for a while, but I was still selling the timeshares. That was pretty much my 9 to 5, taking care of kids, seeing family. Right now, I do a lot of broadcasting. The thing that people miss is that my whole boxing career as a professional, I broadcasted. I have my own TV shows. I did Heavyweight Explosion. I did Floyd's fight on KO Nation. So broadcasting was a gradual to me, was supposed to be my future. That's why I looked at it. My broadcasting part, I've been broadcasting for 20 years. Now I do a show for Tom Loffer called 360 Promotions. You might have heard about it. Mm-hmm. I've been a broadcaster for that show. Me, Doug Fisher, and what's the girl's name? Cynthia Conti. And broadcasting has been a real, I can't say a thorn on my side, but it's been something that people love me talking about boxing. You know, and the way I come across with the sport, and I cover all the bases with it. So, you know, me to get a commentary contract is just if you look at my career, there were times where there were empty spots. Because I was broadcasting. As a matter of fact, in 2001, I was broadcasting 3 shows at one time. So what happened was I couldn't box. So I was retired. So I didn't retire. I just started broadcasting every week. And that's something that people love that I do. I was maybe for a while. Sky TV didn't pick me up, so I picked me up. I did HBO. I did Showtime once, ESPN a lot. CSI Sports. I've done CBS. Everything. Everything you name in broadcasting I've touched, been done. Foreman, I was doing this before Foreman. I was doing it before Holyfield. For Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones, I was doing one of his fights. And that's how Roy saw me doing it, and wanted to start commentating. I was doing it before him. I started in 1989 broadcasting. I did a fight. I did Holyfield versus, I got in my head. Holyfield versus is when it was a pure review fight. Holyfield fight. It was Holyfield. I think it was Holyfield Foreman. I did Holyfield Foreman on radio, and because there was a pay-per-view event, I couldn't call it the way it was. I had to wait a few seconds and see what I saw. So I would do like this. A few seconds ago, Foreman landed a great right hand. Looked like he buckled the legs of Holyfield. It buckled a little bit. Looked like a little spaghetti, but, you know, I had to be very descriptive on things. And so that's where my commentary style comes from. It comes from radio because I was doing radio for so long, right? By the time I started doing TV, it was easy. Okay. So that was a passion of mine. The broadcasting became a passion, doing shows, talk shows. I did studios, a lot of studios for ESPN. You know, I understand TV loves the way I talk, and I have a lot to say. And I think that the sport should be taught better. I don't think it's broadcast enough, and that enough information is not being done. I think fighters should be more the broadcast teams than anybody else.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and I think that when I see Mario Lopez, boxing is the only sport where they'll take a celebrity and let him be a commentator. They don't do that to football, basketball, baseball, soccer. They don't do that. No other sport they do that. Only boxing. It's like a joke. So that's why I commentate and broadcast at the level I do, because I make it like, you know, that I've commentated with Master P before, the rapper him. I did shows with everybody. I was working for HBO for a while. I had a contract for a few years. Yeah, it was good. And I was doing a lot of fights for them. And I did a lot of public appearances for them, showcases, all kinds of stuff. And everybody thought I was going to be a gradual crossover, but HBO, of course, got a lot of boxing. And when they did that, I lost any opportunities I would have in the future signing a nice contract with them. Mm-hmm. You know, and so broadcasting, I still enjoy it. I still do it on the time. And as available as I can get it, you know, I go out there and call the shots. I'm doing it for Tom Laughlin now, 360 Promotions. You know, watch it on YouTube. I did the last 2 fights that he's had. He's got some new monsters out there. Watch out. They're very dangerous. You got a guy that's a Graham Bochuk, knocking everybody out, 16-0, 16 knockouts. You got guys that's 8-0, 8 knockouts. There's some real monsters out there. Yeah. Mostly from the Ukraine. You know, I love calling the sport of boxing. What I've learned, you know, and what I've perfected in a sport of in the ring, I know how to call it as good as I know how to throw it. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that's a gift from God. And I always say it's a gift from God that I'm just not being lucky up there. It's not luck. You know, I know how to put this thing together. You know what I'm saying? I know how to jab different ways and what kind of hook you got to throw when it's needed. so I can pass on that instruction. And like I said, I think the talent that he gave me was so I can talk about it in a form and fashion to explain it to the world. It's not explained to the world properly. I feel sometimes I watch commentators and I'm like, that wasn't good enough. No, when you want to create fans, if you want to create fans, you got to. People don't like what they don't like. They don't watch. I mean, I never liked golf, right? And I started golfing, and I love it. I got golf clubs in my house, everything. Until you understand what it is, and that's what people think that boxing is a fight. I tell them that's not a fight. I said, what's the difference between a fight and a boxing match? Then I explained to them. I show them. I said, listen, a fight, somebody that pissed you off, it's emotional. A boxing match is all psychological. I'm trying to outsmart you, outwit you. They maneuver the wrong way, throw the wrong punches. Okay, it's a game of chess. It's a game of chess. I'm 2 moves ahead of you. I know what you're going to do before you do it. That's boxing. Yeah. A fight is out of aggression. All anger, emotion. No control.
And I want to ask you, Kev, I was going to ask who's the hardest puncher you ever boxed in your career, but you kind of answered it, Gregorio Vargas.
Good. Gregorio Vargas and James Pips, to me, hit the hardest to me.
Yeah.
Gregorio Vargas was a very hard puncher to me. Like I said, it's all perception. James Pips. First, it hit any harder than me than I think, personally, than Gainer. I think it's going to catch you more off balance. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I didn't see a severe punch of power like, oh my God, that really blew my mind. Because I wouldn't attack him if I did. You know what I'm saying? I tell him all the time, how did I attack him after he knocked me down? I just ran in, right? So it wasn't like I was scared. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that. It wasn't that kind of power that made the press made, I think. Press can make your power or break your power. You know what I'm saying? I seen an interview, I think yesterday, about Holyfield and Mike Tyson. I was talking about Holyfield was as hard as Mike Tyson. He said, I don't know why I kept talking about Mike. I hit harder. I haven't stopped him. You know what I'm saying? So, punching power is all perception. Except for guys like Julian Jackson, guys like that have normal punching power, right? Guys like that are just tremendous punchers. You know what I'm saying? Another one was Ernie Shavers, a tremendous puncher. Like, these guys got to have normal punching power. Anybody they hit, they're going to go out. They're going to hit the hardest. Vince Phillips is another tremendous punching power. Compton Zoo, another tremendous punch. These guys have power no matter who they fight. They're going to say they hit hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Tommy Hearn, they're very hard. But, you got to ask my opponents. I fought guys that knocked him out in the second round. The guy told me I didn't hit hard. Ain't that crazy? I knocked him out in the second round. He told me I hit hard. I said, okay. And I understand perception. That's what I would say. If I was on the air, I would say, well, it's perception, and that's what people understand. And that punching power is torqued up. So you knock out this guy, knock out this guy, knock out this guy, all of a sudden you can knock everybody out, right? Not true. Because there's guys that you're going to hit, you can't hurt. Troy Dorsey's one of them. Wayne McCullough's another guy like that. These are guys you hit, you're not going to, I don't care what kind of punching power you got. You're not going to get them guys out of there. And so punching power is all perception.
And I want to ask you, Kev, if you could go back in time, was there anyone you'd have liked to fight that you didn't get the chance to? I know you've said Tom Johnson a million times, so I'm guessing it must be him.
I wanted to fight Tom because I know I could beat him. He can't fight lefties. I knew the secret.
Yeah. But
I wanted to take his title. And I told Tom too. But the only fight I would have rematched because the public wanted it was the Prince.
Yeah.
Okay, because the public wanted it. So I wanted to do that, right, to close that chapter, right? Because it's an open window in my career. I got all closed windows in my whole boxing career, and that's the only open window. Because every time somebody sees me, they're going to say, why? I don't get it, Kev. How come that fight was a rematch? That fight was great. And that's why you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I tell them I need a dance partner. You can't dance by yourself. You know what I'm saying? I need a dance partner. I would have did it gladly. But I know he would never do it. He wouldn't do it. It's not worth it to him because, he just my history, I scared him. I know I scared him. And, he was going to do it. I would have did it gladly. I mean, it was on the table. When he actually fought Augie Sanchez, I was on the table at that time too. And I said yes. But it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. But like I said, we leave that open window. When people will remember that fight, I say, wow, I want to see that again. That's an emotional fight. People felt very emotional. And the Gainer fight and then the Troy Dorsey fight. Those are 3 fights that I hear about constantly from time to time. I never hear about Espinoza. I never hear about Humberto Soto. Sometimes from the boxing fans, I hear about Soto. I hear about Soto, Humberto Soto. But majority of the time, it's Gainer, Dorsey, Prince. I would say about 95% of the time. Those 3 fights I'm going to hear about all the time.
And Kev, who would you say was the best opponent you ever boxed in terms of all-round fighter? Who was the best?
You know why I don't know that? Because I'm the kind of fighter where I don't think you're good on even fighting you. You know what I'm saying? So it's no body. I thought a man fought like me, so I didn't know you asked that question. Fought a lot like me, a lot of switching stuff. The best boxer, I would definitely say Smoke. He has a reach advantage. He's tall, lanky, he's quick, he's fast. He's an amazing boxer. Punching power, he really, nothing really that, you know what I'm saying, that's going to bother me, hurt me, nothing like that. He don't got the Tommy Hearns punch. But boxer-wise, definitely Smoke. Smoke is a hell of a boxer. I would say non-stop, Troy Dorsey all day. That's a rock. They're fighting a rock. You need a gun for him, okay? Humberto Soto was a better fighter, right? It's actually a better fighter than even when I was in the ring with him. I didn't realize how good a fighter he was until I beat him. So, and then even another guy, Edwin Santana, when I beat him, he's another guy who was very shocked how good he was. Even the guy I beat him, Frank Castaneda, knocked out. Frank Castaneda was a hell of a fighter, I realized, after I fought him. You know, when I watched the tape, I'm like, damn, that guy's a good fighter. But, you know, they're not going to beat me. That's the only thing. You may be a good fighter, I mean, you're going to beat me. So, Prince is definitely in my top 5. Okay, skill-wise, because we fight very similar. There's some similarities. But I can say there's nobody that ever in the ring, because my mindset's different. You know what I'm saying? My mindset's way different now. I'm fighting you. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm going to get around whatever you got. I'm going to get around and get you out of there. So my mindset never had a thing where like, oh, wow, this guy's really, really good. You know what I'm saying? I never had it. I always thought that I could do better than you. And I did better in the ring. And that brought me to another level and I could blow you out somewhere.
Let me extend the question, Kevin. Let me say, who was the best person you perhaps sparred? Is that an easier question?
Sparred, got in the ring with this dude. Best person. The best guy that I've actually boxed wasn't actually a boxer. He's a guy in the gym, at least in the gym, who I actually got in the ring with to get ready for the Prince fight, who never had a fight. And it was amazing. He never fought. And this guy gave me the best sparring of my life. He fought at the Prince. And this guy was a hell of a boxer. Just came to boxing and train. So he's the one I paid attention to. I would say in the ring boxer. I mean, I even boxed with heavyweights. I used to box with Stampede. He's every champion in the world. When he was every champion, I just boxed with him a little bit. I would say Jorge Linares is a hell of a fighter. Yeah. I like Linares. I worked with him a lot. I sparred Linares a lot. They're all different in their own way, but they all got their own secrets. You know what I'm saying? They all got their own special tactic. Their own special thing they do. I'm actually saying I got like 4 or 5 guys. Augie Sanchez was a hell of a fighter in the gym. Maybe not in the boxing, but he's a hell of a fighter in the gym. Augie Sanchez, great sparring partner. Wayne McCullough, amazing. You know, he's Troy Dorsey all day. Doesn't stop coming, keeps throwing at you. Everybody's different. No, I don't think there's anybody that put me on my heels. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Where I was like, wow, you know, holy cow. I would say that the closest to that is Linares. I would say he was the shocker for me. But I was the only one that could spar Linares in the whole Vegas. You know, he was knocking everybody else out. But I was sparring Linares and I was almost 40-some years old. Yeah. I was still sparring him. You know what I'm saying? And he was moving away from me, so he was had great deal of respect for me. I'm punching power speed. But he was really good. I can say Linares. If I have to answer your question, Linares. Jorge Linares.
Okay, interesting. And I want to ask you this, Kev. Have you got any regrets? If you could go back and change something, do you have any regrets about your career at all?
Nope, not one.
Good.
Not one.
Good. That's the best
everything had to happen. Everything had to happen that way. You know, regret, you know, I had to go down to featherweight to fight Morales. I had to go to featherweight to fight Barrera. Those things I had to do. You know what I'm saying? In my career. You know, it wasn't like I could afford to sit out. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? And I could have did it different. Now the question was, if I could have did it different, would I? Yeah, you know, some things here and there. I think I would have put everything the way I put it because it made me who I am. It proved to me, boxing is the only sport to me in the world that proves to you what you can do. You don't know what you can do until you do it. That's boxing. Like me beating Soto with one arm, me knocking out Gainer one eye, those things I didn't know I could do. I had no idea. And I do it with adrenaline going and everything going on, and I pull it out a victory because I'm trying to feed my family. You know what I'm saying? And I would say that on my mind, those are amazing things. Those to me are amazing things. I don't expect accolades for them. I just, I was just doing what my job was to 110%, not 90, not 85, not 45, 110%. All right, you had to kill me. I was refusing to lose. I was refusing to succumb to what you learned in boxing. You know what I'm saying? That's what I looked at it. I looked at it like, you're primitive. What I'm about to do in the ring, I'm blessed with a gift. I have great hand speed, punching power in both hands. I can switch righty, lefty. So I was like, I feel truly gifted. It was just a matter of, you're going, right? And you're not going to be going nicely. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing. And I always remember as when I turned pro that I forgot who told it to me, send a message to the other guys in the future. You know what I'm saying? And that's what my goal was to do, to send a message to my future opponent. You know what I'm saying? And so that they got their names. I know this boxing sport is psychological. It's 90% psychological. It's only 10% physical. And that's the truth about it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree, and I've heard that many times before. Definitely true. My last real question for you, Kev. We ask this one to everyone that we speak to from overseas. It doesn't have to be Prince Naseem. It can be absolutely anyone. But who's your favourite UK fighter of all time, any era? Who comes to mind?
Prince Naseem. He does. He just does. Prince, I would say, because I didn't have a chance to watch Chris Eubank. I watched him later after I knew boxing. Then I watched him, of course. Nigel Benn, know him very well. A lot of guys, when I got in the game, I started watching. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I learned about him. But I would say Prince Hamid, Naseem. From UK, I go back to Charlie Choo-Choo, White Brown, Julian Jackson, Terry Norris. I go back to watching Ray Robinson, watching Billy Backus, Archie Moore, Jack Johnson. I'm like Tyson. I'm a historian. I watch everything. You know what I'm saying? I feel, wow, to see how we evolve, to know what we have to do. And when people say boxing ain't the same, what they mean is the mindset's not the same. Not the boxing, the mindset. The idea to get rid of your opponent. These guys today want to fight to full distance, right? Instead of getting in the ring to knock somebody out, right? And knowing how to do it. That's the problem with today's fighters. They're not, I like that. Actually, for a long time, I praised Kell Brook. I thought Kell Brook was a really, 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 I still think he is a really, really good fighter. I just think that, before Errol Spence Younger, you know what I'm saying? But I thought Kell Brook was going to be Errol Spence. I thought he's the most underrated welterweight there was. And I think Kell Brook's a hell of a fighter. Chris Eubank with the stories lines, I like him. A really good fighter. I remember watching Ryan Rhodes. So he was in the Fritz camp. He's pretty decent too, but he's more of an imitation of Hamid. But Ryan Rhodes wasn't bad. I go back to Henry Cooper from Europe, guys like that. So I love the sport of boxing like my father did, and I watched all the way back to Jack Johnson, Sid Simmons. I go back, I watch everything. Henry Armstrong. See, what I want to correct in boxing is that these current fighters, everybody's holding a stake. Henry Armstrong. There's no fighters doing what Henry Armstrong did. It was 8th division. He was champion of 3 of them. So no fighter's ever done that and defend all 3 belts equally. Pacquiao went up in weight, never came back down. Okay? Sugar Ray went up in weight, never came back down. Even Roy Jones went up, never came back down. So Henry Armstrong defended all 3 titles equally. That's what makes him so great. And nobody's ever done that. Imagine defending a welterweight title, a featherweight title, and a lightweight title the same. That's crazy. That means you got to lose 20 pounds and defend the title and win. Amazing. So the people got to know the facts. Just like the record's been broken already, Mayweather doesn't got the record. He doesn't. Well, Carlo Lopez has the record. Well, Carlo Lopez is 51-0. Did you know that?
Yeah, but there's actually a guy that's fighting now. He's the WBC minimum weight world champion, 54-0.
Yeah, but he's not retired. So until he retires officially, so the record's not spoiled, the record. And I don't count Conor McGregor as a win, so I count him tied with Marciano. Because, to me, we look at it like this. When I was boxing, if I had a fight against Kobe Bryant and I won the fight, should I go on my record? No. So even though the fight sport, he's 0-1 as a professional fighter, right? He has no record. We're gonna look in the history books down the road. So it's just a matter of perception. Like I said again, he's a good fighter. Heck yeah, of course, all day. But I'm not counting McGregor.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, but yeah, the most popular answer to that favourite UK fighter thing is Prince Naseem. And just finally, Kev, if you've got any closing words just to your UK fans, I know you've got a ton of them over here. You probably don't get to speak to them too much. If you've got any closing words just to send them a message, you can do that before we let you go, my friend.
I'm glad they enjoyed my career, and I did it for them. My logo on my cards, my logo on my shirts, my logo was doing it for the people. Not doing it for the Americans, not doing it for the Europeans, not the Africans, Latinos. Doing it for the people in general, globally. That was my logo on my cards, and that's the message that I did it for. I rose to those occasions and I had to persist and overcome things because I knew that the people would love and leave them with memories. That's what I want to leave the people with, memories. And that's what's great about this thing, okay? It doesn't matter. It's like when I was a kid, I used to watch a show called Good Times. I was about 11 years old, 12 years old. And when I seen Jimmy Walker, who lives in Vegas, on Good Times, it took me back to them times in 1977. And I'm glad that I had fights that were memorable, that I can leave with these people, that they remember when they see me, or say, you know what? I seen this kid, Kelley, man. What a fighter. That's what I did it for. To be some of the best fighters in the world. Instead of just being another guy out there throwing punches. Unique, different, and special.
And you were definitely that. You should be proud of yourself, my friend. Listen, as you said, you mainly get asked about 3 fights. We've gone over 20 this week. Kevin, it's been a real honour walking down memory lane with you this week. Thank you so much for your time. Take care. And, of course, best wishes for the future. I hope we can speak again soon.
Thank you very much. Anytime. Anytime you want to call, talk about some fights, about coming back, you let me know. We do this.
100%. I'll have you back on soon, man. God bless you. Speak soon.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, and this wraps up episode 247 of the BoxHard Podcast. I've been your host, Joey Coastman. A massive thank you to our sole guest on this week's podcast, the former WBC Featherweight World Champion, Mr. Kevin Kelley. As always, though, the biggest shout-out of all goes out to you, the listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in to all these podcasts we've brought you during the lockdown period. It's been difficult tracking down some of these fighters from the yesteryear. I can't lie about that. To do these interviews. So I hope you've enjoyed them. They've all been very in depth. Very soon, when we get boxing on our screens every weekend again, we won't be doing these long in-depth interviews. So enjoy them while they're here. We'll go back to interviewing 2 fighters a week, and it'll be much shorter. I don't know if some people prefer that or not. Not quite sure. So yeah, that's about everything from myself. Enjoy your weekends, people. Stay safe. That's a big priority. And we shall see you all again next week.